This is our natural state of being, reflected in the order of the cosmos. Mother, Father, universe places all things in space and time. We are the image of that sacred harmony. When we are in harmony, harming none, loving all, loving us, being well within, bringing wellness to those without. We do more than survive. We live, we love, never forsaken. We will forever. No one here is suffering. It's all left in the past. Find our cause for loving.
Peace, and welcome to another episode of Honor Life Global Ministries Midday Affirmative. I am yours truly, Ima Yakira Eden. Welcome into this space. I'm going to jump right in and acknowledge the chat. Peace and give thanks for joining Master Menelek. Peace, Lugal. Thank you for being present in this space. Peace, Aftanaya. And of course, I know I don't need to remind anyone to share, like, and, do what you do. I want to, of course, just open this space by offering gratitude and reverence for our ability to use our words in a way to enliven and empower us, and offer gratitude to the Creator who fashioned us in such a way that this is possible, that this technology, if you will, is possible. And really, I have to also thank our Chief Jegna, Chief Yuya, for digging up the gems and then allowing us the time. Some of us, well, I got some of these references. I go back like 10 years, allowing us the time to actually like discover them and to accept what they're bringing, what he's bringing, each and every one of the segments that are online, on podcasts, tucked away in archives. There's just so much. So thank you, Chief Yuya, for holding this space and for holding space for all of us to grow and expand and reflect our Creator. Yeah. So important. It's so important that we get there. I at least endeavor to get there, right? So with that, you saw at the very opening, there is the Anu retreat, which is going to be in New Orleans next month. I'm super excited. August 24th to the 28th. If you have already registered, you should have received an email last week with some updates about what's coming, and there'll be more information rolling out every single strong to keep you abreast of all of the exciting activities and how you can best prepare yourself to fellowship with us in August. If you have made your payments or at least made your deposit, we thank you. Please go ahead and continue to send in those payments. And if you have any questions, of course, you can go to the website. If you even rewind to the beginning of this video, you'll see a QR code on the screen. You can scan that and it'll take you right to the website where you can pose questions and get more information about the retreat. And I don't believe it's too late to register. So if you are contemplating or have been contemplating, come through. Come on, just go ahead and register. And we look forward to sharing space with you and being with you in New Orleans. I've never been, so I look forward to it. I hear it's hot in August, but I like the heat. I actually tried to start this recording outside but my iPad doesn't like the heat. So I had to make a mad dash and come in really quickly because it was overheating and I didn't even start the live yet. So that's it for updates. I want to jump right into what I'll be discussing today, or what we'll be building on, because I pulled a little bit from what Aki Zach did a few strongs ago, and just making the opportunity to connect more engaging. And so I'm going to use on a few different mediums, but really I'm going to rely on you all to really weave this statement of affirmation together with me as we go through what I've gleaned. Could be, right? Could be the anatomy for the affirmation. And what I mean by anatomy of the affirmation, I'll share. I was walking this strong. It's a part of, the charge to be active and to move. And I was walking, and while walking, I'm often listening to podcasts or, messages, sometimes music, but mostly podcasts. And I was listening to Chief Yuya's podcast. It was the Jezebel Part 6. And I'm just going to look down, and that's actually episode 90. And I would say towards the end, about the hour and 15-minute mark, I noticed that there was something inserted. Chief began to cite scripture. He identified an illness. He identified that Jezebel spirit, right? He identified some things that the Jezebel would do. And instead of me like doing a recapitulation, I'm actually just going to play a little snippet of the audio that I downloaded. So I will that you can hear it effectively. And yeah, let me do that. And then it sets the tone way better than I can. I actually didn't have it all queued up. So give me a second, because I was going to recap. And then I heard, no, you have it. So just play it. So I'm going to do that. So here it is. And I'm starting, for those who just want to maybe go back and scrub through, or if you've never listened, I'm starting this is the June 1st of 2023 episode on the Chief Yuya podcast. And maybe it'll even appear. Oh, it's already there. Look at, which one is that? It's episode 90. So something was linked, but it's not that one. It's Jezebel Part 7. So it's episode 90. And I'll play. It's about the 1 minute and 14-second mark. All right. So here it is. Let me get to the beginning of it. Right.
You'll start dancing. Jezebel was saying, you can't dance to that. You'll write a work or a poem or something that's deep to you. Jezebel really be like, you trying to be a poet now, huh? Okay, you need to stick to your day job. Always saying.
Before I continue, I want to ask that you actually take note of why I'm playing this. What your thoughts would be about how what Chief is speaking to connects with the idea of how you understand affirming or making an affirmation. And you can just kind of just like put a thumbs up in the chat, each thing that he says that sounds like an affirmation or that sounds like something affirming. Thank you.
Oh, you want to start prophesying and teaching and helping people. Would you sit down? You see, Jezebel all day. But you have to remember who and what you are, your true identity. I'm not a slave. I'm a child of the Most High and an heir, Galatians 4:7. I am a new creation, 2 Corinthians 5:17. I'm set apart, Hebrews 10:10. You see? We could even go old school 90s gospel. I'm more than a conqueror, Romans 8:37. I know my identity. I'm not listening to you. I know what I am. I know who I am because my creator, my maker, has already defined and sculpted out my identity. And you know what? Sometimes you have to write it down just in case you forget. You can write those scriptures down, write them down. This is who I am. Jeremiah 1:5 told me that I'm anointed, I'm appointed, and I'm set apart. Colossians 2:10 told me that I'm complete in my creator. 1 Peter 2:9 told me that I am the special possession of the Most High. I could write that down, put it somewhere where I could see it, just in case Jezebel's around, tries to make me forget. You see?
Okay. So that's the snippet. And yeah, I see a few thumbs up. Absolutely. So so let me just go back to the chat. Let's see. Peace, Aki Zach. Thank you for being in this space. Okay, looks like somebody was all right. Peace, Ima Akuya. Peace, Ima Sequoia. Peace, Akotiafe. Peace, Aki Rahim. I believe that's Aki Rahim. Rahim's peace to you. And peace, Anu Radio. And of course, thank you for supporting on the back end, Akoti Amina. Okay, so I see Ima Akuya put a whole bunch of thumbs up, just acknowledging the affirmation. So as well as Ima Sequoia and Akoti Yamina on Radio. And peace, brother Muhammad, Abdullah Saeed Muhammad. Welcome to the space. Yes, so I wanted to open, well, we were led to open with that particular component. Peace, Sister Sovereign Eat, Sister Maria for joining. Thank you for joining the space. I was led to just share that little snippet of audio. And though it is brief, it's almost like a minute. In it, you get the illness and you get the medicine, right? So we get, and I wouldn't even say the illness. You get what the enemy will bring to you and what you've already been given, right? How you've already been empowered. What I would even say I received more weaponry, right? More tools. You can call it a tool. I'm in a house where it took me a while to even appreciate the value of a battle plan. I kept saying, well, why do I have to battle, right? It was renamed the fracas plan just because I'm like, well, does it have to be a battle? But you know what? That was a while ago. And I will say that, yeah, it is a battle plan because I know getting some of those things done, I had to push against, lots of challenges and wage war in order to birth some of the goals and some of the tasks that were on my battle plan. So yeah, it's warfare, right? And so with that, we have to know what our shield is. We have to know what that breastplate is. We have to know what we're going to use to protect ourselves. And a way while ago, Chief did it's actually on the Enlightenment and Transformation channel. And I have the link for Why Pray, right? Are you praying or are you being prayed on? And I'm going to pull from that particular audio. I know it's on the Enlightenment and Transformation channel. And I'm going to pull from the audio and I'm going to quote, and I'll even share that a lot of what I was able to piece together as it pertains to the anatomy of the affirmation came from that segment. The name came while listening to the name and the idea of what we're going to discuss today came from exactly what I just shared with you, came from the audio from episode 90. But then as I began to just sit in meditation and study and just thinking, why did I give this title? Do I even know the anatomy of the affirmation? Well, I know that I've been given affirmations and I knew that I knew how to I thought I understood how to piece together an affirmation. But as I began to look at the ones that I had been given and look at scripture and listen to the different podcasts and YouTube episodes that I'm going to reference, and there were quite a lot, that's when I began to realize there is a formula, and there may be many, right? There may be many formulae, if you will. So you may come up with your own piece. I'm going to offer 4 steps that I gleaned that seem to be necessary as in order for us to empower that affirmation. Let's see, there's some stuff. I don't have my glasses on, and I've changed locations, and my computer's further away today. So I'm just going to squint, but maybe if I do this, it'll help me. There we go. Okay, so Aki Zach says the self-talk is critical, moving from that fatalistic mindset and negative self-talk. Absolutely, yeah, we're going to talk about that. And if you want to talk more about it now, then that's where we're going to head first. Of course, I have my notes and I have a flow, but I yield to how we move collectively. Cybernete says, I always thought of it as being watered. I'm not sure what your, can you elaborate a little bit? You always thought of what as it being watered. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I think I somehow lost. Okay. Africana in the caucus. Okay. I'm not in Ema Aquia. I'm sorry. I should have been paying attention to the chat. I'm not sure what you're acknowledging, liking. So just, yes, please catch me up, because I was like in a zone. I don't know what came down up in this chat and when and why. So please be patient with me and just explain, give thanks. So Chief says it's a battle when you are given the term battle plan by your head. Yes. And you choose to rename it. Yes. Thus redirecting the energy of it. That is the body going to war with the head. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And that was the state 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago, because this is my 3rd battle plan. So they're called battle plans, and that's the name because that's the name I was given. So thank you for that correction. Oh, okay. Thank you. You're referring to the content in the clip. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay. So just kind of moving forward, I want to just define what I want to first share, like when I sat with the word affirm. I didn't go straight to, well, what's the etymology and what does the dictionary say? But just sitting with the word affirm, I'm like, well, firm is in there. And that idea that something needs to be, so I thought of a firm mattress, I thought of comfort, I thought of the idea of something being hardened or hard. And why an affirmative has that root word firm in there. And I began to, I apologize. So the fact that firm is there just made me think of the foundation that we're standing on, or what you're able to lean upon or pull upon, because it's always there. It's something that's girding or supporting you or keeping you solid, versus hardening. And I thought of hardening of the heart. And when we even thinking of scripture, when it talks about hardening the heart, the only thing that seems to correct that is that circumcision, right? Circumcision of the heart, and pieces that should not have been there, you know, concerns or fears or issues that we take on, begin to harden something that shouldn't be hardened because we haven't affirmed the things that we know to be true. And I want to acknowledge that Chief said, thank you for telling us it was 3 years ago. Thank you for that correction. I apologize. No, I was not trying to offer correction. So pardon me. I apologize for that. So that was some of what I wanted to share about the term firm. And of course, firm is, or to affirm is to state as fact or to assert something. So in that snippet, you actually heard Chief Yuya using scripture to acknowledge what the facts were about those chosen people, right? I am more than a conqueror. I am set apart, right? So when that spirit of you're not able to do that, or you're not able to, you know, accomplish that goal, when that comes up, then hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, peace. I just saw it pop up. Peace, Aki Zach. It's like I think something's going on down there. So that when you are, you have the tools you need to actually recognize. I wonder if we can get rid of that black bar. We can recognize who and what you are and be reminded in those moments. Peace, Aki. Jump on in if you like.
Yeah, greetings and salutations. I adore affirmations. I hijacked, Chief did a show on affirmations, which is and what you're building on right now just made me think of, even towards the end, it's like when you break the word up and start to build on affirm, you are affirming or strengthening what you've already built. So it's not a matter of one just, you know, reciting, just standing up and saying, I am love, I am something, I am da 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 da. Because then the question starts to come in, is like, how do you know that? And becomes problematic when one didn't take the time to go through the steps or the anatomy of the affirmation and actually dissect the affirmation and build the affirmation up, or one building themselves, but just standing up and making some proclamation. So it's just like, you know, when somebody stands in front of a mirror and says, I am beautiful, well, the whole reason you're saying it, because somewhere in your mind, you think you're not. So did you go through the proper assessment of saying that when you know, because there are going to be times when you're going to get punched in the face and somebody's going to tell you that you're not. Are you still going to be reminded that you are? Did you still, you know, plan for these certain events that are going to come up in your life that's going to tell you, you know, that's going to pull everything out of you, that's going to tell you that you're not what it is that you set out to do? Do you still have it in you? Do you have that drive? Do you have that gumption to keep going? Or is it like, you know what, nah, this is not what it is that I said that I wanted? And all of that could be prevented if one just takes the proper time to make the proper assessment of building the proper affirmation and firming and strengthening it. Or you just moving from self-worth, which, you know, self-worth is just that whatever it is that you're telling yourself, but not really built on anything of value, of, you know, just, oh yeah, I am the greatest that ever, but you haven't done anything. So right. Now all of a sudden, that's when one can start to move to a fatalistic mindset of thinking that they're protecting themselves now so I'm not going to do this thing because I already know. I'm not going to go talk to this person because I already know they probably stuck up. I'm not going to go, you know, stand up and speak in front of a group because I know it's not going to go well. So now you start telling you that Jezebel creeps in there and says, you ain't supposed to do that. And you think that you're protecting yourself, though. You're protecting yourself from shame. You're protecting yourself from guilt. And you start moving into a fatal, and then it'll start going. And if one's not careful, it'll start to even progress. And you'll start thinking that I'm stupid. Then it'll start going into I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. And all of it started from one thinking that you're protecting yourself, moving into a fatalistic mindset. And then you're like, well, now I shouldn't be, I'm not worth have a life living, or I shouldn't be doing this, or I shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, I'll put a pin in that for now, and then and we'll just go and flow.
Yeah, thank you for that. Right, that actually brings me right to one of the points that I wanted to highlight. Well, it wasn't my point. One of the components of the command the day. It was actually the second command the day. The impossible is happening. And we may have a video, so I'm not sure if a video pops onto the screen.
You are not a child of the universe. The universe is a child of this. You start to acknowledge that the impossible is happening, right? And the most important.
Can hear it. I don't know if you all could you hear that video?
You are not a child of the universe. The universe is a child of this. You start to acknowledge that the impossible is happening, right? And the most important thing is that for you to acknowledge this, you are not a child of the universe. The universe is a child of this. So as soon as this starts activating the way it's supposed to and correlating, when you get this to correlate with this, to correlate with your hands, so your actions are correlating with what you say and what you think, and even with your feet. Your feet represent what your struggle is.
Okay, so I think you all could hear that. Like skin as a case. Okay, so you all can hear that. Good. I could not. But I'm just happy y'all could hear it. Yes, that light skin as a case. AKA Chief Yuya. And Aki Zach, I don't know. Oh, there you go. Okay, I think we lost you somewhere in the video. Attempt.
Not what you said. Impossible is happening. It was impossible for me to hear him, so I was clicking buttons.
Right.
And I clicked off the screen. So
yeah,
that's all right.
I think what I discovered is that we don't hear it. Like if we're broadcasting, we don't hear it, so that the audience, I think everyone else could hear it. So I just learned something about how we use the video feature. So I wanted to ask the audience then what you heard that spoke to what we're charged with doing. And while we do that, I will just highlight Ima Sequoia shared. She said those scriptures shared are powerful. I remember writing them down, right, so that you can be, right, yeah, you can use them. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, thank you. I wasn't sure if you all could hear. So I had a few different video clips, and I think the first one that you heard was speaking about affirming in one breath. And just tell me if that's what you heard. If not, I can just talk through. Right. Aligning your speech, thoughts, and actions. Right. And the value of doing that. And so that's actually a component of what we have to do in order to. It's kind of like what you were speaking to, Aki Zach. It's like if we're not aligning our speech, thoughts, and actions, and we're not pulling on something that's already been solidified inside of us, that's already been firmed up, that's positive, right, inside of us, then what we're pulling from is going to be exactly what we're saying we don't want. We're pulling from that fear. We're pulling from those statements of, like you said, I don't even want to talk to that person because they're going to reject me, or they're going to be stuck up, or whatever your concern is. Although there may be a charge for you that is necessary for you to have a conversation or to engage in discourse with that person, but you don't do it because there's nothing supporting or firm enough within you, or nothing's been affirmed in you that says, no, that's not, you know, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah, did you want to say anything? You
Yeah,
just
and you
checked
know
in.
what? It also makes me think of, on the flip side, of just the lack of humility that some have of not being able to align that thought, speech, and action. And one thinking that they're so far beyond something when they haven't actually put the time, energy, and effort in to even learn that certain thing so that they can claim that certain thing. It makes me think of the movie Doctor Strange, when he's this big time surgeon and doing all of these things. He has this accident, and then this accident now causes him to seek out medical help, but outside of his own medical field, because everybody is ultimately writing him off. And then he goes into another place, and they're like, look, you know, let me show you some chakras and all this. He's like, these are gift cards, man. The lack of humility does not allow one to now move beyond where they feel like they should be at. And I can already think of numerous times where certain people want to stand up and be leaders. They want to stand up and be the front, but there's no humility or to take the time to actually learn information, to actually build on information, to get the information, and thinking that they're so far beyond it. And then all of a sudden, when somebody presents to them some of the information that maybe they skipped, now all of a sudden you see the lack of humility start to come out. Who are you talking to? Why are you trying to tell me? You shouldn't be telling me nothing. Did you take the time to actually learn what it is that you were supposed to learn? Or do you want to stand up now and just start beating your chest and thinking that you got it all figured out? And then that's when somebody just tells you, man, get out. Just get out. Because you obviously have it all figured out. And that almost comes into somebody is now, which is a lot of people, that they're clever enough to try to change the world and try to change other people and try to have retorts of saying why something won't work and why you shouldn't be doing what you should be doing, but they're not wise enough to sit and listen in a space that says, you know what, maybe I don't have it figured out. Why? Wisdom just tells you I'm in a space where I'm ready to listen. Not one of those that when you listen to the show with Seeking Wisdom, and the way it goes, where he speaks about, you know, where somebody is even in there talking about, when they loud talking and they talking over you and cutting you off, and they be like, look, man, I understand you're not letting me allow, you try not to let me speak and all that. Okay, you want to speak? Well, go ahead.
Speak. Go ahead. Right.
Go ahead. And you're like, you know what? I don't even feel like, oh, it was a problem when I was speaking. Now it's a problem when I'm not speaking. Right. But it's a matter of, and it's that small little nuances in people's behavior that just still wants them to hold control, because they just want you can speak when I allow you to speak. Not when not you able to just point out to me that I'm not in a space where I'm not ready to listen. I'm not in a space where I'm actually seeking wisdom to understand and see what's going on, but I'm just really, I want to be clever. And I want to be clever in the sense of trying to change you and tell you that this is what you're doing. But meanwhile, I have skipped steps and I haven't properly built an affirmation. I haven't properly went through the anatomy and affirmation. I haven't properly went through what what I actually should have built, because I want to stand up and be quote unquote the leader. I want to stand up and lean on what I think of my history, of what I think that I should already know or where I should be at, and think that people should give me false reverence. I.e. Dr. Strange, you come in here now. Nobody cares about what you did over there. Nobody cares about all of your accomplishments that were over there. The only thing we care about is how you present and what you're showing in the moment. And in this moment, what are you choosing to be in this moment? How are you choosing to show yourself in this moment? Are you choosing to show humility in this moment? Are you choosing to be humble? And humble is now trying to show one what you have done in the past and think that people are supposed to hold you to your past, which is why so many people start to now say, this is what I've done, and try to show you and take you back to hold you to some reverence of, I've cured this and I've done this. Nobody cares. What are you showing right now that's actually going to move you forward and propel you to where it is that you want to be?
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. And peace, Akotsi Yafe. Jump on in whenever you like. What you just shared. Oh, go ahead.
Please, I don't even know if I can follow after that. I never can. I'm always nervous every time we have to do affirmation after you go. I'm like, what am I going to talk about?
Like, what am I gonna do now? Right.
How am I gonna say anything? But give thanks so much for that. You actually went into what I wanted to share, like as you were speaking, like, you know, even your look into the, like, looking at the word in your care, even like affirmation, like, you know, what you're standing on, like what's already there, like what's strong. And then you also, you know, made mention of that, Akizak, and it made me think of foundation. And then, like, what is that foundation? It's the knowledge. And I was like, there it is again. It's the equation. Like, if you are not moving in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, like, you're not going to be able to affirm. Like, or that is the only way to affirm. Like, I have to have that knowledge, right? Not the doubt of, you know, like you use the example of, if I look in the mirror and say I'm beautiful, then there's some doubt that says that I'm not. But I have to know that it's there in order to affirm something that is better. Like, I don't have to go and affirm I am beautiful. Affirm something that is more connected to purpose. You know, beauty is fleeting. That doesn't necessarily, if we're talking about looking in the mirror and, you know, talking about something physical, it's fleeting and it's vain. What is the purpose? Is there a purpose, you know, connected to the reason why I might have to say something like that? And then how am I moving in it? Like you said, like what are the speech and the actions? And then I can have an understanding to affirm something that makes sense and is aligned with purpose. So good thing. And that may be totally wrong, but that's what I was thinking of as y'all were talking.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I would say similar to that, Akizak, when you shared, it brought me, and even what you added to it, Kotiafe, it brought me to step one. So I had mentioned that I was able to pull together what I think are 4 steps that we need to journey through in order to, I guess it would be the body of this affirmation, right? So the first is meditating with self. It's connecting with yourself. What's actually happening with me? What are the words, the thoughts that are actually traveling through my mind, right? And are those the things that should be there? And really just exploring if what you're even setting out to affirm or to call out is necessary, is appropriate. So is it that I am abundant, right? Money pours from the sky and fills up my bank account. Is that like, or I saw one on Instagram the other day. I was just like, is that it? Is that all we have to do to get to get the bills paid? Is just read this thing here? But it's like, is it that? Or once that happens, is that going to actually remedy whatever the actual true issue or dis-ease or imbalance is that led you to wanting that money ritual or wanting that the creator to just come down and fill your bank account and pay all your bills and get you out of debt? Or will you figure out that you can refinance your house, do that, take the money to pay the bills, and then run those cards back up? Because the narrative is still, I don't have enough, and I'm not good enough. So I'm going to go buy these things to make me look like what I think will look like I am enough. So I'm going to go, what you say? Is it you that said it? You know, you're going to put it on you and but not have it in you. Was that you? I think that was you. No.
Don't do it.
No, that was how it
Don't do it.
I was giving you a moment to be, you know.
At this point, that train has long gone from the station. All right, we can't do anything about it at this point.
Right. He's like, hey, some people think I own it. I own it. Right?
I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay. Wait, I wanna just acknowledge the chat, but I'm just gonna say, please just step one, based on what I'm sharing, is that meditation with self, that time meditating with self, and really asking, you know, am I even to fully own what it is that I'm asking for? for what it is that I'm affirming for? Am I able to take full responsibility? So yeah, the bills get paid. And then if that was your one shot, if you will, you know, I know in New York a while ago, I don't think it's a thing anymore. There was this thing in public assistance when I worked in social services. It was called a one-shot deal. Yeah, we all said it. So see, there you go. It's now, what is it? It's like the Anu way. It's like free public knowledge. You can just use it. I don't think that's what it's called. It's like everybody use it. It's free. Just rain down like manna. But it's that ownership and being able to sit and say, you know what, that wasn't even what I really need, right? That's actually not even it, before you go creating another want for yourself. And I'll just go.
So
through.
while you looking through the chat,
Sure.
I started thinking of a couple things where you were oh well, go ahead. Did you want to read that?
No. I'm just gonna pop them up because I was from.
All right, cool. So when you said sit down and the meditation piece, it was like putting your thoughts, or organizing your thoughts, of putting them in order, because there's a lot of things that are swirling around in your head that'll be like, oh yeah, do this, and all of them fighting for attention. So it's a matter of one sitting down and organizing and saying, hold on, all right, let me give this one attention first. Let me put these things in order, because a lot of times. This goes back to that motivation and motion, is that whole affirmation, or what somebody wants to strive for. It may be something that has been implanted into you, that maybe you have, that somebody says this is what you should be, this is what you should have. So when somebody is scrolling through internet, or looking at Facebook or Instagram, and then all of a sudden you see that, what's that, I will be one of the greatest, right?
Yes. You got it down. The fingers.
Yeah.
It does.
Like, yeah.
It's very catchy, right?
Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna be the greatest. That's all right. Yeah, greatest at what? What right. Are you talking about here? And just like you even said, like, if I just want abundance. So this is how you get abundance, and not seeing what type of character should one have to sustain whatever there is. We're going to skip past all of that, just like you said. So even if you got it, are you going to go right back into it? Or do you start to actually have the right character that you have built in order to sustain what it is that you say that you are affirming? And it makes me think of even in the Sadulu house, where it said, I do not crave for abundance, but I masterfully and creatively manage my resources. That's on me. That's putting that on me to be able to now make sure, watch me work. Watch me how I don't need all of this stuff to put me in debt to show off for other people. I don't need to start to now try to play the lottery so I can now try to get the quick fix. I'm going to now cut back on certain things so that I make sure that this is paid and that this is paid so I can get myself out of debt. I'm going to masterfully and creatively manage these resources and say, okay, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this over here. I don't need to eat at no 5-star restaurant every day. I don't need to order out on DoorDash every day. I don't need to start to frivolous. Oh, gosh.
One more time. You got it.
Hey. That's almost as hard as that solipsistic. Frivolously. Gosh. I don't need to frivolously spend my money on things that ultimately I could be making dinner at the crib. I could just be putting certain things together here, but ultimately now I'm compromising or trying to get for convenience. It's convenient for me just to hit this button and have something brought to the house. It's convenient for me just to sit down and point at a menu. It's not convenient for me to go up to the grocery store or whatever it is and buy certain things and then come back to the house and then put together, even though, you know, we talked about them sides. Oh yeah, you're right. Man, leave me alone, man. You gotta bully me.
I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna put it up there for him.
Yeah, leave me alone, man. Yeah, it's not convenient to put together a meal, and therefore now it starts to now rob one of their resources because one doesn't want to take the time to do what they're supposed to do in order to put things together. So Hey, I knew the word. I was just trying to make everybody feel, like we was all on the same page.
Oh, like we're equals, right?
Yeah, that's
Y'all
what
don't know
it
how.
is.
We don't know how to pronounce that word. That's what it is. Thank you for that grace and kindness.
And with that, I'm gonna put myself on.
He said, at that, I'm done. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, what you were describing, you were talking about like having an actual plan, right? Remaining rational and looking at doing a self-assessment, a sober assessment, and acknowledging, well, in order to get out of debt, I have to take these steps. I have to be responsible, right? I have to respond with ability or take responsibility, right? Seize responsibility. And that would be that step one, right? Meditating with self, because the opposite of that is the fact that, and I'm going to just quote something from the Command the Day, Free from Bondage, which is episode 33. Chief says, have you set beliefs in falsehood and imagined outcomes that never actually come to being? So is everything that I'm asking for rooted in irrational fear? Like, is it rooted in things that I imagine will happen? Or, period. Like, this is what he's saying. So the time to sit with that is that first step. It's that in that meditative state and just sitting and getting what you get, right? It might not even go past that. But if it does go past that, the next step, and please jump in whenever Akotiafe and Akizak, the next step would be gratitude. So let's go with the example that we've been kind of flowing with. All right, so now you know that it's not about, the finger snap affirmation and then having the money pour into your account, or the new job just ringing your doorbell or sending you an email, right? I know you like bent down in the camera.
I feel bad because not the visual I got. It was bad. It was a South Park, and that's my tick. I'll explain it later.
What? No.
Okay.
Threw me off completely. What?
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. We offer gratitude for what you just brought in that moment. He said, bless her heart. There you go, sister. Bless your heart. So step 2 would be gratitude, right? And in that gratitude, we can even use the audio, the audio that I played initially. It's like using what we already know to be true, right? If we acknowledge that we are children of the Most High, then we are told what we are already. You can look at what's just happening around you and offer gratitude for this moment right now, right? To have a sober mind and to be able to build with community. I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful to not sit here full of angst and worry, because I can remember a time when I thought that it was my physical soul drive that would make these lives successful. And it's like, no, it's the Creator. It's holding space for whatever is going to happen, and appreciating that in it, we're edified. So being able to find what there is to be grateful for, because then you're actually enumerating the abundance that is in fact around you. Period. Yeah. It
made me think of also the movie Greener Pastures that we watched yesterday.
Please. Yeah.
And in the movie, he was saying how, a family starts to set a man right, which started making me think of what you just said was the community aspect, or just getting out of yourself. And when one is continuously trying to look to have self-gain, and I'm doing this because I want this and I want this and I want this, as opposed to looking at the pulling back for a second and looking at the collective and seeing how does my piece fit in with the rest of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll start to even activate gratitude in the sense of saying that I am not alone, one. Two, I can lean on a community that even if I start to get off the path, then I can get back on the path, because they're going to point out some things that I should be doing that I think that I shouldn't be doing, as opposed to me just being very cynical and looking after my own self-interest. Now it gets out of that and says, okay, how can I now? Which ultimately we start to see that as beauty. Beauty is like somebody, not in the sense of walking in and looking in the mirror and mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And you start throwing rose petals, right? And then, hey, I said something about it yesterday.
I know.
I'm
like, I guess I won't.
It
was good.
But beauty in the sense of when you walk in the house and boots are dirty and pants might be dirty and you got numbers written all on them because you're trying to make codes or something, and your shirt needs to be clean, and you come strip all of that off. Like and then you see that this person is doing this in order to now making sure that the greater collective is sustained. That's beauty field. It's beauty field. Right. And when one is actually doing this, but you have to go beyond what this society has shown you or told you, or what you have been taught, all up to unlearn. That's when they say unlearn to relearn. But ultimately, one will see that within a community, as opposed to just, you know what, I just want to move to the city. I want to drive something foreign. I want to do this. I want. And then when you get all of these things, you look back and say, but what was the purpose of all of it? Well,
right.
Congratulations. Now what? And then you start to see that I went in the direction, but I went and traveled in this wrong direction. Now, do you have the humility to say I messed up? And do you have the humility to lean on somebody to get you back on another path? Or does one start to say, well, how long is this going to take me? Like, how long, what do I need to do in order to get here, and try to skip steps and skip right past? You know what? I'm grateful that, how many times have I heard people tell Chief, I wish I would have met you 20 years ago. Or where was you at when Or are you just grateful? I'm grateful that at least I got a chance to have this opportunity right now, as opposed to me going through my entire life and maybe not even knowing this, but knowing that there was a hankering that was going to pull me back to, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. And now I got to come back and repeat this whole cycle again. But I'm presented the wonderful opportunity to now make a change so that therefore I can start to grow. Can one see the gratitude in that? Or do they just start to look at it and say, man, I wish I would have done this. I wish it would have been like this. Now, how long is it going to take me to get from point A to point B? So yeah, can one actually see the gratitude, and the gratitude being the war tactic, which is, that's not on the podcast though, that's on the YouTube, but gratitude as being the war tactic to get somebody to where they want to be.
Right. Yeah. Like with that idea of gratitude, it's also just, if I'm not able to, and you said this, right? If I'm not humble, then I'm not going to even be able to accept the gratitude, to even see why the journey was necessary. And I'll share peace as Okotie adjusts the camera and comes on. Thank you for joining. I know she's getting it together. You leave her alone. Thank you for being here. Right. I'll share, as Yafe says, a little story time. So I was stuck. I will say it felt like I was stuck in New York for a couple of strongs. Maybe last month it was. And while I was there, I wound up being in parts of New York that I actually didn't frequent in quite a long time, prior to moving to North Carolina. I was in Brooklyn a lot, and I was in Manhattan a lot. And when I lived in New York, I'd say for the past like 10 years, I was on Long Island. So it's very different, much quieter, much more peaceful. But I was in Brooklyn, and I was looking after a loved one, a blood relative, and I wound up having to go back and forth between Brooklyn and Manhattan. And initially, with the stress of everything that I chose to be stressed over what I was navigating, I just kept thinking, number one, it's too cold. I'm like, why is there no heat in New York in late June, right? Why is it so cold? Oh, it smells. Oh, it's gloomy. Like, I started noticing all the things that I missed about North Carolina. And then as I'm sitting there just really complaining, being a complete ingrate, right? And spoiled brat, which is a really nasty quality that I do, that I'm starving it, right? In it, I realized, wait a minute, I'm only able to recognize what this is right now because I have been given the opportunity to have something, experience something so much more. So much, like, this is no longer all that I know, where I thought this was the most amazing thing ever. But rather, I was able to say, you know what, I'm so grateful that I'm here and that I could actually be here in this moment and be joyful and even walk and be obedient, and just seeing lots of people that could get a kind word or get a kind smile and be able to give that, right? Even on a cold, gloomy, I don't know if it was garbage day, but it was so smelly in Manhattan. But even in those moments, to just be like, you know what? There is a lot to be grateful for right now, like, period. And then be even more so elated to come back home to fresher air and warmer temperatures, and and just to kind of keep that balance, to just stay in that celebratory mindset of gratitude. Did you want to jump in, Yuya?
I was gonna say, I think, this is probably wrong. I think, yeah, like that gratitude can be, I think, did somebody say difficult or did I read it on the screen? I don't remember. But it being part of the tactic, I think you said. And if if we're sitting in that space where it's like, I don't want to, or the spoiled brat phase or whatever it is, like, because I've been known to like do that too and still do. Um, it can be difficult. And so then it's like, well, then if you don't have
your camera's dancing for us.
You know
Hula.
Yeah, it is. And she's trying to hypnotize us. She's like, she opens with, this might not be right, but then the camera's like, I'm correct. I'm correct. I'm correct.
I was like, why are you dancing? I'm sorry. I have a new camera stand, and it's a
you need to get your money back.
It's a gooseneck, and it's connected to the table, so it's like floating. So, and I hit the table with my leg by mistake. Sorry. Okay, so move over. So, and it can be difficult to get to that point, and for no fault than our own. Difficult to get to that point and pull that out of your arsenal. That that weapon of gratitude out of your arsenal. If we're stuck in the I don't want to, or the I don't feel like doing this now phase because of ego. You know what I mean? And then what happens when you miss out? Because the creator can always tell, the God knows your heart, right? What's that? God knows my heart. Well, guess what? He also knows that there's no gratitude there. So you can affirm all you want to, but then nothing will happen because, number one, you didn't put in the work. A Gucci camera stand. Yeah, it's funny.
I did not buy anything for Prime Day. I was so proud. I'm gonna offer gratitude for that. I saw that dude come and go. I didn't buy nothing.
I was like, it's Prime Day, and I was like, but you know what? That is such a farce. And most of this stuff, it wasn't even a sale anyway. So it was just a regular, whatever purchase or whatever. But anyways, yeah, like, so you don't have that gratitude. So it's like, so what do you expect to happen? Nothing. You're not giving anything. This is supposed to be give and take. You're not giving anything. So then what why do you expect something in return? Me.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things that, like, I had like some bullets under gratitude. So it's like we're not even acknowledging the greatness that was already placed inside of us, right? So we're not acknowledging the greatness. We're not acknowledging the abundance that is already present around us. But then we want it to magically appear when we summon it. Something that we're not even acknowledging is there all the time. Not only are we not acknowledging it in what I initially identified, I was poo-pooing it, right? I was crapping on what actually was to kind of help me see, wow, this is an opportunity for you to that prime digger. No, it sounds like she said that was a whatever purchase. So that was what's the word I can say? That was a frivolosity purchase.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Actually, I'm using it to see how it really was to record my hands while I'm beating, because it has the 360. It has a better.
There you go.
That's
so there's utility.
Utility to it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't be doing this on your hands.
It won't be more when her knee hits the table while she's beating.
I know, right? I'm gonna have to like do this. Yeah, that was like full overhead bird's eye view.
Right. Yeah. So with that idea of gratitude, one of the things that I had here is when in a divine space of gratitude and connection, we're moving closer to love. Like there is no lack. So it's like if we're able to, the more we're able to stay in that peace, right? That peace or that peaceful mindset or that gratitude. I'm gonna keep my peace and keep on going. Y'all cutting up in the chat. She's like, forget it. I'm going off camera. Right. Don't let. I mean, well, let me shut
I'll be back.
Oh, okay. She's like, I'm gonna get my other stand. I got other stands. I got stands on stands on stands. Okay. So just I want to just kind of so if you're just joining us, step one in this anatomy of the what time is it? Dang it, I'm never under an hour. The anatomy of the affirmative. The first step is meditation with self. The next step is gratitude. And in that gratitude, it's really taking the opportunity to acknowledge all of the gifts that you've already been given and are being given in the moment, period. And it also helps, I'll say it helps me to deaden that voice that tells me that I'm not, I don't. You know, and even when we're here and I say something that is completely incorrect and is completely corrected by my head or by an elder or whomever, or an elder brother or sister, it's like you said, Akizak, it's the humility of saying, you know what, I could have just been doing this wrong again and again. As opposed to, oh my gosh, I'm being corrected on camera. You know, instead of choosing to be that ingrate in that moment, being grateful for that correction so that you don't actually play yourself again. And if you do, it won't be that way, right? Because you've gotten some medicine that aids in how you should move.
And it even speaks to that spotlight theory of thinking that more people are looking at you than you would actually are. So it's like, oh, if somebody corrects me now, everybody's gonna think that ain't nobody thinking about you.
Everybody. Who's everybody?
Right. Or even if I share this story, then okay.
Now she put the green screen up.
Yeah. Or if I share,
I'm joking.
You know you're on mute.
She says it's not a green screen. I know.
Yeah. So even if I share certain aspects of myself and I out myself on something like that, then what is everybody going to think of me? I can't say this. Nobody's thinking of you like that. Like, oh, if I share certain aspects of my family, nobody's thinking of you like your family like that. It's just a matter of you start to. It was one of those things I remember Lauryn Hill saying one time of being captive to her. Like, I can't go out and enjoy this moment because I gotta sing tomorrow and I can't produce. But then now it's just like it just comes out the way it comes out because I have to be in the moment. And you start to even hear that was part of your purpose coming back from the Sadudu house again is part of your purpose is to be in this moment. And we get out of that moment by thinking that I don't enjoy this moment. This joy, like you said, there's a garbage can outside and then there's garbage juice going down the street that I can smell and is creating a terrible aroma. Now I'm trying to remove myself from this moment in order to now get through it because now I want to put myself somewhere else. But now you're missing everything that's going around you. And it goes back to that movie. What's that movie with that dude who was a gymnast?
Oh.
And they were standing in the park.
Socrates. No, that was
that was the guy's name. That was Nick Nolte's name. I remember all of that, but I don't remember.
Well, that movie, right?
Yes.
And that movie, when they were standing in the park.
Warrior something. Peaceful Warrior?
Yeah.
Yes. I never remember movies.
Yeah, that's it.
There we
go. They were standing in the park. And he was like, there's so much happening around you. But because he was so stuck in his fixed mind of saying that, I need things to be the way that I need them to be, that he was missing. And he finally he hit the TiVo button on him. Or, let me slow things down. Yeah. Now you can see, there's this dog over here barking. There's ladybugs crawling up. And there's all of this life going on around you. Are you going to choose to be present in the moment to see it and show gratitude that you are in this moment and sharing it? Or are you going to consistently miss everything that's going on around you because you want to remove yourself from the moment? Which goes back to even thinking that you have to enslave yourself to the moment. It may not necessarily feel good. It may not necessarily feel like where you want to be, but at least you know where you're at in your starting point so you can start to progress moving forward. So it's just like, and this is what Chief had told me once, it's like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption was like my man who was a lawyer. He was doing all of these great things and then all of a sudden got sentenced. And when he got sentenced, the way out, he had to crawl through feces. He had to crawl through garbage. He had to crawl through all of this stuff. Now, is one willing to go through and be in the moment and crawl through some of that feces? Because sometimes some people have worked hard for their lives that they've made, and they don't want to go back and look at some of the destruction that they have caused. Right. I'm going to just keep pushing that down and I'm going to bury that. And I think that I'm just going to build something else. And this is like, no, I'm an aspect of you or I'm a part of you that you're going to have to deal with and you're going to have to crawl back through. Are you willing to be in that moment and be vulnerable in that space to crawl back through this space? Or are you going to keep moving on like this? None of this exists, which therefore now is causing you to miss all life that has to present and offer to you in this moment. So is one willing to do that in order to get to their freedom? Or is one trying to just keep skipping steps in order to now just say, oh yeah, no, I'm grateful I'm here. I'm grateful for this conversation, but now I just need to get here though. Like, how do I get here? And it's not about just getting there. What is it? The Wizard of Oz showed us that was just like, you think that I don't have a heart. I don't have a brain. I don't have this and I don't have that. But once I finally get to this destination, then this person is going to give it to me. But it wasn't about the destination. It was about the journey and who you become along the journey, that therefore then you start to see that the thing that you have been looking for, you have had this entire time. But right. Are you willing to take that journey, or are you just trying to skip to the end so that you can finally meet the fire and the big guy that's talking? Just fix it right now. You cannot just skip towards the end. You have to go through to get to. You have to go through.
Do it. Go on and I'm gonna mute out. I don't want no parts.
Yeah, and that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
When you said you have to enslave yourself to the moment, and I thought about once Chief said that he's a slave to his purpose. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, so then that means that's why it's important of who and what we surround ourselves with, and the things that we do are critical, because then if we're enslaving ourselves to that moment, then they all have to be a part of the purpose. That entire journey has to be along the line. That path has to be toward whatever the purpose is, so that you can enslave yourself to the moment, whatever those moments are, being present at all time, which is the blog post today, coincidentally. Shameless plug. But yeah, like it made me think like everything has to be related, and that's why it's so key. So if we're enslaving ourselves to like frivolous moments, then what does that lead to? Just destruction.
I knew he was gonna do it. I thought he was gonna say so.
What?
Frivolity.
No, I was just saying, like, so I don't mess up.
Yeah, you guys are just so refined. That's what it is.
So I have a lot of
oily. How about that?
That was it.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I did have the comment that you put up, Ema Sequoia. Yeah, like she put up, reformation process can be painful.
Mm-hmm.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And every time I have to be re-reminded, because it's the ego being started up. That's what the discomfort is. It's that ego saying, no, I want to do this. No, I wanna. I want to do, no. I was trying not
We
to.
all think it. We all think it.
Oh my God. See, I'm spitting. Like I was trying to do that. How my
You say you had your pinky. Frivolity.
Okay, I'm done.
No, but thank you. I do get exactly where you were taking us, both of you. And when we do that, and when we stay in that state, it's like, and I know Aki Zach said you can't get to, right? You don't get to a destination, but you also don't recognize what's already been there all the time, right? What's already been right there, because I was stuck in the fearful narrative that I'm not this and I'm not that and I don't have, and and never realizing like in the Wiz, which I watched with my youth the other day, like the Wiz, these shoes, I could have been home, like I already had this. So again, that takes me, this is perfect. It's like moving through the steps. So that takes me to step 3, which is beginning to affirm what you are, right? And you affirm what you are. And if you've forgotten, the piece that I shared, the Jezebel part 6 that I shared the audio of earlier, that's an example of how if you align yourself as a child of Yah, then those scriptures, then there are scriptures that will help to remind you or to activate that, right? Activate what you are already inside of you, so that you can say, you know what, yeah, I was thinking of an exercise from my book. It's like if I feel loneliness, and this literally happened the other day, and she brought it back to my attention. Yeah, but the doing, right, exactly, the doing versus that being. But it's like that idea of an activity in the book where it's like, okay, well, when you're feeling lonely, go out, set the intention of being alone, and go out into nature. And I even just on Yom Shishi, a few of the sisters and myself got together and we did yoga in the park, and I recorded it. And I watched a little bit of the recording, and I noticed how many people are even present when we think it's just us. Then there are people moving and walking, and there are trees, and there are animals, and there's so much around you. The other day I was walking on a little path, and a deer, just like a foot in front of me, a deer just came out of what seemed like behind one of the houses, crossed the path, stood there, and as my grandmother would say, our eyes made 4, which means I'm looking at it and it's looking at me. So in my case, that might be 6, because I'm usually wearing glasses. But shut your mouth, shut your mouth. But in that moment, it was like, I thought it was just me out here. Yeah, I mean, the turtles and the flies and the crickets, sure. But a whole deer just walks out and then just walked and keep it moving, walked and looked like, hey, I thought it was just me out here. Where'd you come from, person? Right? And I'm kind of right, human. And I'm thinking, where'd you come from? And the brush to the left. To the left of me, it came from the right and it went to the left. The brush to the left of me was super low. And the deer walked away and I ran up. It was just a little foot. I ran up to where it was. I could not find that deer. It completely, like I was using my phone, the camera, like trying to zoom in. I don't know where it went. But if the narrative is I'm always alone, as opposed to there is always something conspiring to support and guide and assist me. My creator is always making a way, or going directly to scripture and affirming who and what, using that to help gird and support and firm up who and what you are, is really key. Now, this is all before we actually get into creating an affirmation, right? Acknowledging what I already have, offering that gratitude, meditating. All of these things come before that final step. Yeah.
And I think a big part of that too, though, is like what you just said.
Maybe it was. I don't know all the animals, and you know.
Is what you said though is remembering who you are.
Wings.
And which I think a lot of it is even why a narrative of you started with slavery. Like that's the beginning of where you came from.
Right.
So if that's the beginning of where you came from, then now you have to look at who released you from slavery. That ultimately might be who you look at that this is your strength that you're going to pull from. So
your liberator, right.
As opposed to like, no, can you? One of my favorites, The Lion King. So my man cracked him on the head though, and he was like, "Remember who you are," which therefore took him back to his father and what his father had told him. So what has your father told you? Which is now we even go back to the scriptures that was saying that no, I am more than a conqueror. I can do all things. Like I'm telling you, I'm going to give you these affirmations to let you know you're with me. Don't worry. Like even in the movie when he was like, you know, well, I'm just supposed to walk into Pharaoh and tell him all like, hold on,
right.
Man, you know, I killed somebody over there, right? Like they was looking for me. Like,
that was such a good movie. Yeah.
Like, I can't do all of that. And
I got bodies, right?
Yeah.
Like, warrants, yo.
Pharaoh's court. That was the best part.
Yeah, you trying to send me to my demise. And I think another key piece of that too is though, he's like, I'm not picking the one who's the brainiest, I'm picking the one who's most pure at heart. And I think that's very important too as well. Because so some people are so headstrong and thinking that they know everything and then think that they can get people to fall for all of these big words that they use. Like solid blood.
Oh, no. That's fired.
And I'm looking beyond that though. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at your heart. And if your heart is pure, I can teach you everything that you need to know. That's fine. But can you actually have a pure heart that you're going to do right by people? Which even takes me back to even King Solomon, who's like, you know, what do you want? I don't want, just give me wisdom to do right by the people, because you put me in front of all of these people. So now it's just a matter of what is in your heart that actually is going to take you through to all of these different spaces and places that's going to allow you to have faith, the trust that you can actually have to move forward. But if one doesn't have that and they're only leaning on the history that has been provided to them, the history that tells you these are your coping mechanisms and your coping strategies of how you're going to move forward, then now you start to move into a fatalistic mindset of when you probably feel like, you know what, they're not here to help me, or I have to do this all on my own. And when you have that feeling like you have to do it all on your own, it's kind of like that's when you know you have disconnected from the creator, and you have disconnected because it's like, oh, it's just me. And when you start to feel like it's just you, then that's when you not getting any help. It's like if maybe somebody was at a school. This was another example in a show a long time ago. I don't remember which one it was. Chief was talking about, like, you know, there was maybe this was him, or was he talking about somebody else? At any rate, there was a little dude that was at the school, and people was like messing with him, but he didn't bother anybody, right? So when somebody started messing with him, and they was like, hold on, man, y'all can't mess with this person. And you got people that are actually holding him up because he was good. He was a good dude at heart. He just was smaller than everybody, and somebody tried to pick on him. But now in the reverse of that, when one feels like, oh, okay, now y'all ain't messing with me, and then they become prideful and haughty and feel like, you know, oh, I'm doing this on my own. Then and that's when somebody steps back. All right, you think that you're doing this all on your own? Well, then you go ahead. You got it figured out. And the spirit world becomes no different, as opposed to when people thinking that they're haughty and prideful and like, oh, I got this all figured out because I was able to achieve this and I did this and I. Oh, it was all you. Okay, then let me fall back. Then let me show you how much you got. Which therefore, even when we saw the creator when he went to visit, going back to greener pastures, he's like, what are y'all doing down here, man? Like, you over here playing the ukulele? Like, he's like, chill out. Nah, I'm playing this, man. And the other dude, he's a pimp, and he coming over there, and everybody like, this is what I. And as soon as you feel like all right, well, then I'm going to step away as well. Like, I'm just going to let you do what you do. And y'all figure it out, which therefore is like, I'm not even worried about these people down here. So it's just a matter of, can you remember your history? Can you remember where you came from? So therefore it starts to tell you your coping mechanisms and your coping strategies in order to move forward and gel the more cohesive unit together as a community.
Right. Yeah. Even what you touched on with Solomon, and Solomon, you know, choosing wisdom. I remember Chief speaking about the significance of him first needing to be put to sleep, right? He came in a dream. The offer was made in a dream. And so it's like, you know, is it that if he were in his daytime mind, he may not have been connected enough with himself, right? He may not have been in a meditative state enough to even know that's what you ask for, right? So it's like, in connecting it again back to the steps, right? The anatomy of that affirmation is kind of like, you have to be at such a peace and clarity, and really that meditation with self is the opportunity to look at the gremlin that shows up, look at the little, you know, little crabby version of yourself, like just honestly identify, oh wow, all of this stuff is here with me. And then you can begin to recognize, all right, but it doesn't need to be, right? It doesn't need to be, because there's something better, there's something more. And I just always remember whenever I think about Solomon, because initially I just thought, wow, that was so, you know, every time I would read it, it's like, wow, he had this opportunity, and the only thing he chose, like, I don't want riches, like, just make me wise so that I know how to lead my people. And it wasn't until Chief said, well, you know, consider, he had to go to sleep first, right? That had to happen first. We have to almost put a component of ourselves to sleep. Maybe it's the humanity, right? Maybe in order to connect with the soul. Maybe these are the steps that we need to those are the things that we need to kill. We need to kill the desire for that somatic experience in order to recognize and enjoy and enliven the soul's experience, like what our actual soul purpose is here. And that connects back with what you were saying. Like, I think it was you, Okotiafe, or you both, in being in the moment. Yeah, you both said it, being in the moment. And that's another thing. I'll just keep quoting Chief. It's like, you know, having conversation, and we always want to know our purpose. Yes. And it's like, well, what's your purpose in this moment? It's like, well, what are we talking about? So your purpose in the moment is to be fully present and to fully connect in this moment, and then the next, and then the next, and not sitting. Oh, are those your bird buddies? It was loud.
Oh,
That
sorry.
was super.
Yes.
No, that's good. I was like, what's that sound? No, that was up
Yes.
close. Like, is it on the table with you? That was loud.
No, he's not far though, but he might
Oh, okay.
sit
Oh,
back
see
here.
the beauty of nature. Yes, because you're never alone.
No.
But there's just that connection back to and we see you Okoti Marie. I think the link was sent to you, pardon. It just reminds me of the importance of not getting in your head. Like even in a conversation, I don't have to make my points or make my notes to get to my point. So it's kind of like, all right, hurry up and finish. Like you were saying earlier, Aki Zach, it's like, all right, well, go ahead, say what you need to say, because I want to say what I need to say, which means I'm not even hearing you like at all. I'm only preparing for the rebuttal. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, and I lost it and then it came back. It made me think about the idea of the sound and silence. That's why it's so important, and I think we learn about that in the 14 keys. I think it's under harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
why it's so important to have that balance between sound and silence, because if we don't, you'll either have too much of one thing. And we know, like, even the way, you know, we in Bereshit, everything was given its amount, you know, and whatever that amount is was good. So like there's a balance that happens with everything. And so same thing with the sound and the silence. If it's too much silence, like what's happening, you're not hearing nothing and you don't know what's going on. If it's too much sound, then it can become noise, and then it blocks out what you need to hear. So you need to have I always picture like Solomon, even though like he had to go to sleep, because that's when that conscious part of his brain is silent, and that subconscious can come through and speak, and you can actually hear it. Because when we think about like harmony and orchestra notes, there are some notes that are like undertones. You have like the melody that everybody hears, but then you have like the harmonies and all of that. And so sometimes you have to isolate those things. And in order to isolate, like some things have to be quiet. Like even when a orchestra or a band practices, you have your different sections that will practice with one another so they can hear one another outside of everybody else's part. That's because then it becomes like noisy. And then until you can learn like where your note falls in with everybody else, then it becomes something beautiful to behold and to hear. And so that's what I was thinking of with, you know, the connection to Solomon. And then it goes to like that first part, the meditation, so that you can have that balance between sound and silence. And then there was another part that I thought, it made me think like when Solomon, every time I think about with that story about Solomon saying like, well, I just want wisdom, it makes me think. And I don't know, because, you know, we do this a lot. It's like we have these sayings and it's like, it's in the Bible. And it's like, where? I don't know. And so this is, I don't know where it is. But the well done, you know, all I want is this, because at the end, it would be great to hear, well done. Job well done. You did this, you know. So that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, that's going up yonder to be with my Lord. That's job well done, sister. But when you were speaking, it made me think of also when I forgot it.
It'll come back.
I was about to drag that joint out, and I was like, let me just out myself. I was thinking about something, and I don't have it anymore. It was a church saying. What were you talking about?
I said, well done. Like when he said, all I want is wisdom. And I said, it makes me think of the saying, like, all I want to hear is well done. Like when you're done, what, you know, what, I don't know it verbatim, but it's like, what will the creator say? And it's like, well done. That's all I want. But I think it was a song, but you know how we always, well, it's in the Bible, but it's not. But I think you're right. It's a song.
Yeah. The song at the end threw me totally off. Yeah. So, I don't remember what the heck I was about to say.
Good
so
thing.
screw it. Yeah, you can go ahead and read that then, and then I think it'll come to me in a second.
Right, you're funny. Okay, so I'm sure it'll come. The final, so that idea of affirming what you are, I know everyone, we've all touched on it, and there was some comments in the chat. It's like, I'm just going to share another piece that I pulled from And this was in the addiction. So that was the command the day. That was, I think it was free from bondage. And Chief Yuya says, before you start engaging in your addictive practices, and I wanted to acknowledge that for me, initially, I would think that addictive practices are those most common, right? Most common substances and food and hoarding or whatever. But what I began to realize within myself is that the addictive practice can be that negative self-speech or that fatalistic way of thinking. It came back.
I got it now.
Okay. I won't even finish my sentence. Go on before it go away. Go on.
It came to me like an epiphany. Yeah, when you was like when Adam was put to sleep, that's when you didn't you say that? You said something like that. And it made me think of when he say, move me out of the way so your work can be done. Mm-hmm. Right. So if I'm awake and I'm still thinking about the things like if I was to tell you that I'm finna make a human being from your rib, right?
Right. You're like, hold on. You got anesthesia? It's gonna hurt. You go.
Right. I'm not. Hold on. You're gonna start to question every little piece. So you telling me, okay, so you gonna cut me or you gonna just let me? Okay, am I gonna be you using anesthesia? How much anesthesia? Okay, how long should I be? Am I gonna be hurt from this from here on? Like everything that you're gonna start to get in the way of the work. And it's a matter of, and that doesn't mean that you just because, which somebody did say this, that this person uses a lot of big words. It doesn't mean that just because somebody uses a lot of big words that you actually just fall blindly. But ultimately, though, it's just a matter of I can get in the way of the work that the creator is trying to do or going to do, because it's going to happen regardless if I want it to happen or not. It's just a matter of, am I going to be open to it in order for it to happen, or am I going to keep fighting it tooth and nail? But more so, can I now just say, you know what, I'm going to allow that? It makes me even think of, now all of these things are popping in my head of love is not something that you look for, it's something that you allow. So when somebody is saying that I'm looking for, it's just a matter of moving all of these blockages that we have put in the way that now back the stream up so that it doesn't allow for it to flow. So it's a matter of, can that connection, like you spoke about earlier, the connection to the creator or that love that says that, you know what, I'm actually connected. Is there a bi-directional stream and current flowing, or have I placed all of these things in the middle of that stream that now have caused the dam, which is the only word that would be a curse word.
A curse, yeah.
But have caused the dam that have backed up my life progression, that what I should be doing, where I should be going, and how I should be freely flowing between the two. Now I can't, and now I feel like I'm cut off, and then now I feel like life is all just heavy on me. I just feel heavy, dog. I feel heavy, dog. Like you just start to feel this weight and anxiety, but it's just because now it's like, no, move me out of the way. I'm in the way of all of this. Now move the blockage out of the way so that therefore I can start to move and groove.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of when and then it just left.
I'm glad that one came back. That was good. And it actually, peace Lugal, peace Master Mana, like it reminded me of I'm going to share this story time. So it reminded me of a dream. So, this is going to get, when you spoke about the, imagine if we are told, well, hold on, I'm going to put you to sleep to do this. I remember having this night vision a while ago. And, in the vision, I'm seated on this couch and I'm in this room and it's really, really smoky and there's drums and it's clear that like there's something going on in the other room. There's singing. And so it's like, I'm clear that there's a ritual happening. And then this person comes out of the room and proceeds to do something, right? Uses this long, like from a distance, uses this long stick that I realized was like almost like a scalpel, right? But uses this long stick and takes something, like removes something from me. But at some point, I begin to realize that, oh, wait, they're about to do some kind of like heart surgery or something on me. And I'm present and I'm a part of what's happening, but the conscious me kind of observing goes, wait a minute, so they gonna use that scalpel and there's not gonna be any anesthesia? That's gonna hurt. Like, what about antibiotics? What's actually being removed? There were all of these. Never mind, it's smoky. These look like Aboriginal, like small Aboriginal people. Like, never mind everything else that was not logical or rational about what I was experiencing, because it was a night vision. But rather, some part of my mind was just thinking, well, aren't I going to need stitches? And what about bandaging? I went to, even in the dream, I went to all of these literal concrete things that my foolish self thought would be necessary, which were not. And it just made me think of like, wow, there are certain things that only need to happen in that, okay. So at least you got the link. Now you're not able to get in. But it's like, it just reminded me that even in that state, an abduction, I don't know. Maybe I was being abducted. I mean, I came back. Well, some version of me came back. Then yeah, but it just reminded me how even in that moment, even in dreaming, there was still that human part of me was still trying to make that experience more like the human experience. And I didn't even recognize that, like, no, that's not necessary in every dimension. Like, those things are only necessary here. Oh yeah. I look taller. I haven't been abducted. That's a good one. That's a good one. On the radio. Anyway, peace again, Master Menelik and Chief. Did y'all want to jump in, or anybody? Did anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, just can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. I'm on the move a little bit, so yeah, just good subject, of course. And it was just a piece I wanted to add in, like just the binary aspect of affirmations, in the sense that an affirmation or affirming something is like a step forward, and the polar complement to that would be your denials, and your denials would be a step away. So when you're affirming something, and of course that word firm is within it, you're stepping towards what is more real, or what has the potential, like a newly constructed thing, but it's a newly constructed thing that exists within the mind, as like the scriptures say, as above so below. Things that you bound in heaven will be bound on earth, things that you loose in heaven will be loose on earth. So within your heavens, within your mind, when you loose things and say, okay, this is what it will be, let there be, it's this, and then you take a step towards that direction, that's the strongest vibration, that's the strongest reality that you have in your journey. The thing that's behind you is the thing that you should be denying. But a lot of times we hold on to the thing behind us. Instead of denying it, we're still affirming that old thing. And the old thing is dissolving while the new thing is being created. So we're now standing on something that's sinking because we refuse to deny it. Sometimes it's could be an old relationship, could be an old job. You know what I mean? It could be an idea that we have about ourselves that just no longer is the money. What's he laughing at?
I just noticed what you have under your name.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I see what I got to do with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly y'all ain't afraid of me. You know what I mean? But I know you all scared of Mr. Charlie.
Reclaim your quotes. Reclaim
Uncle
it.
Sam. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had to get Uncle Sam involved. Master, they copying me. Master, they mocking me. So, you know what I'm saying?
Us. They copying us.
Right. Well, y'all look the same to me, so I don't know who's who.
Exactly. Heads and tails of it.
Right.
Y'all
Get back to
all-
work. So that's the thing, like I think, which is the amazing thing about that affirmation aspect is that there's a dissolution of what you deny, but that's like being in rhythm and being season and being in season. And like when Yahweh said, let your yay be yay or nay nay. Let your speech be either one, either be yes or be no, right? Not nay nay like that, not that kind of nay nay. Um, but and he said anything outside of that comes from the evil place. So it's like when you are vacillating, like sometimes, and people know, like sometimes I'll ask a question and it's just a whole lot of talking. Like, no, I didn't ask you that. I asked you this. Or I asked you a did or a do question. It only requires yay or nay. It doesn't require your story because your story is evil. It comes from the evil. Is it yes or is it no? Right? So the no is the denial, the yes is the affirmation. And when you're moving from that yes or no, from that clear binary, because binary is good. We want binary. Binary is great. You know, through binary we create through the push and pull. You know, so when you're able to say yes, then it's like saying let there be. But anything in between light and darkness is confusion and evil. In the beginning it says that the Elohim pulled darkness out of pulled light out of the darkness. There was light inside of it. So the Elohim pulled the yes out of the no, pulled the new out of the old, if you will. So I just thought that was just, when you're talking about affirmations, it's just an important or an interesting point because you're formatting a reality through the mind, through the affirmations that identify with what the Most High is showing you in your heavens. And if you deny it, then it's like now, so you're going to stand on sand, you know. And it was just something I wanted to throw out there for everyone. I thought it was an interesting question, because you didn't put no questions in the chat, nothing like that. You know what I mean? You just kind of ignoring us. So, yeah. So speaking for all the chat people,
No,
for the underserved,
sorry.
the deprived, the
The
hungry,
unheard, right? The unheard.
the lost traveling tribes of
Of YouTube
our new
land.
chat. Yeah, I'm speaking for them. Um, I was just curious if anyone has ever found themselves in a situation or remember a time when they were in a situation where life was creating or the heavens was creating a new reality for them, but they were in denial and were afraid to affirm it. You know,
Is that for the chat? We're gonna wait for the chat to answer.
that's
No.
for everybody. That's for
No, okay.
everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. And specifically, not just, yeah, there was some things and some people and some places and those things. Yeah, no, specifics.
Yes. Yes. Akisak, I saw your hand fly up.
Oh, it's easy for me. Y'all know my story. This is fish in a barrel. And I still have issues with it. Well, I'm getting a little better, but even when the matter of when I first started in Osiris life, it's like, all right, you can start speaking and doing, and it's a new reality of moving from football to not knowing, okay, that's what I've been doing my entire life. So I identified as an athlete, and then moving beyond being an athlete and okay, I'm gonna start acting to no, now you can start doing videos. And I don't do that. Like it wasn't even afraid of doing it. I just totally rebuked it. Like, no, that's not something that I do. I sit back and I watch because and I'm thinking in my head, because I make fun of a lot of people, that they're going to start making fun of me. So when they make fun of me, I'm not just going to give them ammunition. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to sit in the cut and I'm going to do all of the judging. But meanwhile, I'm hindering my own progress of moving forward and doing what I should be doing. And even now, sometimes it's like, yeah, that's not, I mean, I can, but I'm not that good at it. And I think maybe in my head it's processing as it's an unhealthy saying that, because I mean, it's not unhealthy saying it, because if I say that I am that good at it, then that's when, you know, let's say pride comes before the fall. So then therefore I'm playing that in my head as opposed to just being able to stand up and own something and saying, yes, this is what I do. Because I had no issues with doing that in sports. I don't know what the biggest issue is now moving away from that. Maybe I'm like, well, the sand feels good in my toes, so maybe that's why I don't want to stand on solid. So that could be, but yeah, that's one of the major ones that I would point to.
Sure. Yeah, I will. There are two that come to mind, but I was trying to come up with. Okay, so one was, and I did share this as well before, being instructed to write a book about scripture and mental health. And I remember the first thing I thought was, oh, great, I get to go to seminary school. Like, I literally asked, oh, okay, so I can like I can go get equipped to go do this thing. And then when that was not a part of the plan, right? And that was because my mind, as Chief has touched on, it's like, I need approval, right? Beyond the approval and authority that was already given to me by my head to say, to do this thing. I thought that some other system needed to say, yeah, you have now been authorized and certified to do that. And that wasn't the case. And similar to what you shared, while writing, the questions would be, are people going to read this and what are they going to think? Right? How are they going to receive me? Or publishing it because I knew I just had to hit the button, and then later saying, okay, well, there might still be typos, which there were, and there may still be things that are just wrong, which there very well may be. But recognizing that that didn't, like, ultimately it did become like a free up, because it was like, you know what? No, none of that mattered. What mattered was that I was charged to do a thing, and in doing it, in taking those steps, I got to learn and I got to have certain experiences, and still do. Like, each time I'm challenged with meeting with a new stranger to share and to talk about what the book is about, and you know, our community, I'm always challenged with what am I oh, the underserved. Come on, Ema Sequoia, join the chat, come on camera, or come up here, hit the link. Y'all are not the underserved. That's always an option. Look, he's like, come on. You can be fully served right here. But I would say that was mine. And then coming to the other side of just not even hitting the publish button, but looking at the book and just knowing it was finished. I was so elated. And then I'm like, it's done. And then I remember Chief's response being, yeah, you hit the publish button. Like, you're still not done. Like, you're celebrating, but you're not finished. And then after that, you have to work equally as hard to promote and to, you know, and to actually continue to bring it to life. And that's with everything that we're instructed and charged with doing. It's not necessarily a one and done thing. It's really just it seems that it's really just being obedient to the moment and just moving forward. And I don't see anything from the underserved chat. Just,
they're revolted. They need representation.
They're organizing.
Yeah, the chat should answer that question as well. You know, again, the question for those of you who weren't paying attention in the segment is just background noise. You know, then the question is, was there anything that was ever presented to you in your life that you knew was coming from the Most High? It was coming from the divine place, and you were in denial, and maybe you were afraid to affirm it, or just refused to and stayed in denial. in regards to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's my turn. So I'm unmuted. I would say yes. And I was thinking about many of the things that I have been instructed to do. The first one I think is even just being here now new, like, because I was like with the first introduction, I was like, like what is it? But then there was there was the denial. It's like, no. But then there was also that voice that pushes, like, no, this is what you need. This is where you should be. This is where you should be going. And then I think, like, there have been other situations similar to yours, Emia, like I had to do a book. I had to even take a test. I was literally thinking, like, I haven't been in school in so long. I'm not good at taking tests. I don't think I'm going to be able to study this. And, all these reasons why I didn't want to do it. So I was dragging my feet on, like, getting things completed, getting things, studying for the exam, even scheduling my exam for project management professional. And then it was like, you need to go do this. I was sitting in denial for like a year, maybe year and a half. And the task was given to me like a long time ago. And then it was like, schedule the exam. So it was like, press publish, schedule the exam and go sit for it. If you fail, you do it again. And lo and behold, I did it and passed on the first chance. And so it's like, all right, now the ongoing is like, just keep your credits up so you don't have to take the test again. Do your 60 PDUs so you don't have to do the test again. But yeah, like, I think it's like listening to when you're silent, listening to that affirming voice and moving forward so that you can come complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember before even I was young. Before I even wanted to even do art, mine was I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I just used to look around at people and be like, this person just needs to talk to someone, And I would always, because I used to suck at talking, I would always listen, and I'd be like, I could do this for a living. Like, I could help people to just talk things out, and I'll help them to point out what their issue is. I remember my old man asked me, like, what do you want to do after you graduate? After you get out of school. And I think I was like 10 or so, and I was like, I want to be a psychiatrist. And the money thing came up. Like, they don't make any money like that. I just dropped it. Yeah, that was my denial. So I needed, similar to you, Emia, and I sort of needed that outside approval, but it came from my head. So I dropped it.
Yeah. Thank you for the question and even for restating the question, and for you all answering. Peace, Saptanaya. I don't see you.
Peace.
Peace. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Peace, everyone. All right, I'm reading it. I'm trying to catch up. I don't
no, you're fine. So just unmute when you're ready.
Okay. So this right now, being instructed to do things that I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be seen. And really, I can't be seen right now. I'm not dressed properly. So that's the only reason I'm not on camera. But not wanting to be seen and be in the public eye and in front of the camera, but stay behind the camera. And even those things, like, I just don't ever think is going to be good enough. But it's always me being put in situations to just have to do things. And it's like, okay, all right. So it's always just a push to do better and be better instead of settling for less than. And that's just a constant ongoing kind of.
So then that would mean with the hour and 53 minutes that we've been on here, you could garb yourself and step up to the challenge and come on and be dressed.
I'm in the process. I just got out.
Okay. I'm just going home.
Nah. So you saying from when I sent you the message earlier and told you
Oh,
to call into the segment and support it, you didn't want to do it because you didn't want to be on camera, so you just now calling in,
No, I
trying to
saw it
act
on
like
my
you
way
all
home.
out of breath.
No, sir, I saw it on my way home. And the only thing I did since I saw it on my way home was take a shower. And now I'm on here putting clothes on, and I got to find a wrap for my hair.
maybe you should find the one that you had on when you was already out in the street.
It was outside.
Dirty. That's dirty. I'm going to get a clean one.
Bunch of BS, boy. I tell you. Zach, you ever just
I
want to
didn't-
turn into a girl for 5 minutes so you could beat the crap out of a girl and then turn back into a dude again?
Hey, brother, I understand.
Yeah, that's like a reoccurring thought I'd be having. If I could just be a girl. Not even 5 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. 1 minute, really. Just set up for the overhand. Straight jab, overhand, bow. And then go back to a dude again. Like, yeah, I didn't do that. She did that. I don't know where she's at. Because it's it's just the BS. But okay.
Oh, okay.
Y'all just remember that next time y'all asking me for stuff. And Chief, I need you, Chief, I need you, and you want an immediate response. And then if you get ignored, think about why you got ignored.
He couldn't find his head right. That's right.
Exactly.
I can't find a brush.
Wardrobe
I
malfunction.
can't find my brush.
Conditioning my throat.
Okay. Thanks. I didn't. Well, what I was going to say, and thank you for what you offered.
She ain't offered nothing. It was trash.
Yes, I didn't know the backstory, so it was trash.
And she quiet now.
I'm
She
getting
got
on
your
camera.
status.
And don't come in here breathing heavy either, freaking Emmy Award actress. Okay.
She having sweat like.
Yeah, over to sprinkle some water on her face. Ooh, Lordy, listen, I don't know about birthing no babies. Just quit it, will you? Quit the crap. Yeah, so now get a real answer.
That is my real answer.
Oh God. I'm gonna seek out a warlock who can. Well, actually, I guess nowadays you just gotta go to Miami. But I don't know if you could go back. Yeah, I don't want nothing cut up. I just need you and me in the ring. 60 seconds. But as a girl.
Oh, he just go to Miami to turn into. I'm so slow. I'm like, what's happening in Miami?
Y'all really
Yes.
are. I don't know how you didn't
Miami?
catch that. Menelec caught it immediately.
I didn't know what was happening, but okay, now I got it. You're gonna get a BBL and then come back and then you gotta.
Yeah. I identify as.
Right, but you know, the hands don't change after the
Right.
after that process.
Slap a chick, right?
Yeah, I keep my arms in my hands. You gonna get them in.
Oh no. You gotta get girl hands.
Well, sir, do you not see a woman in front of you? It's ma'am. It's ma'am.
Yes.
Full beard and all, right?
Yeah, it's
They
ma'am.
spoke about that in Little Red Riding Hood.
They sure enough did. Look at them whiskers you got, Grandma, and them big teeth. You look like the Undertaker from WWE. Yeah. So that's your affirmative, and what I was really getting at too is like not just because it got weaker and weaker, really, from the first to the last. It just got worse and worse. But what I was really building on was like sometimes things that would be even joyous. Like, for instance, have any of you ever been in a relationship that was so good and it was exactly what you asked for, but you just would not believe that this is what it should be? So you didn't take the after affirming step in the right direction towards it. Like you might have been in a relationship with someone, everything is perfect, and then they're like, I love you. And you like, oh, why did you say that? Why did you say that? And then you fall back into the sands of denial.
Yeah, I never had that one. The one who was closest with that, I actually dodged the bullet in the final till later.
Okay.
He
That
like,
doesn't
I
count,
don't
man.
Well,
It's not. Yeah.
yeah. I would say yes to that one, and even to just the idea, well, you said something specific, so let me come with something specific.
Here's one. Here's one. Sometimes that happens, right? This has happened to me a bunch of times, like even up to recently. I'll get contact information that I don't that I'm almost afraid to use. So
Oh, wow.
it'll be someone major, and they'll hit you, be like, "Yo, give me a call. Let's do lunch." Da 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 da. And then you'd be like, "All right, cool." And then afterwards, you'd be like, "Man, I'm not
I'm
ready for
not
this.
gonna do it. Right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not ready. I don't have my stuff in place.
Right.
I hate those shoes. All my other shoes hurt my feet, so
My new
I can't
outfit. Right.
I couldn't very well wear that. I have to wear this outfit, and it's out of season right now. I can't
Right.
wear that. You start coming to all these different things because you're afraid of the opportunity that's in front of you, like, or afraid to feel like you'll be exposed for your unreadiness, or your
Mhm.
your self-perceived unreadiness for what is put in front of you. Though when it's not in front of you, it's what you think about and what you kind of even affirm for. I hope, man, something comes and this can happen and that can happen. And then when it does, you're like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Oh, I
I have
got
a specific example of that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I have a specific example. For one moment, I was like, oh my gosh, he talking about that thing, that time that had happened.
Scratching that first eye. Look at that.
hmm So what had happened was one day I was walking down the street in Manhattan, minding my own business, and I saw Godfrey the comedian talking on the street. And like in New York, like you don't just like, oh my God, you don't do that. I mean, I don't know if people do that, but like you don't just like go running up to people. And I don't know if does everybody know who Godfrey the comedian is?
Is he a
So
comedian?
yeah,
I'm
Yeah, he
sorry.
so
got a podcast. He was in the
yeah,
movie Fat Girls with Monique. He played
yeah,
the
Yeah.
no, he wasn't the leading man. He was the second leading man.
uh-huh,
He's got a podcast. He's done comedy specials. His
yeah,
parents are Nigerian.
yeah. He was
He
in
used to
Soul.
be on Vlad TV all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
the
Always
guy who's real good at impressions. He
in
always does
person, yeah,
impressions.
impressions. He
Yeah,
does Steve Harvey. Well, he does everybody. He does it really well.
yeah,
That's him.
yeah. I know that guy.
Yeah.
So I ended up speaking with him, just like chatting and telling him about some of the things that I was doing at the time. And he gave me his number. And the truth, I think I might still have it, unless he's changed his phone number. And I hesitated on calling because it, like, deep down, I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I don't have anything prepared. I don't have any, um, pages. I don't have anything physical to give when I could have just used what y'all gave me, which is here and here. Just use it, use that gift, and then you go from there. And I didn't, and I hesitated on calling because he said, "Oh, contact me between." He gave me like a time frame, and I just waited until outside the time frame, and then when I texted or called, like, no answer. And so that was my fault because it was laid out on a platter for me, and who knows like what that could have done, like with regards to promote. And I didn't have the podcast or anything at that moment, but there were other things, and like who knows what that could have led to, who knows what connections that could have led to, and where things would be now. It's like shoulda, coulda, woulda. So that was one. And then that denial, so that's one where there was no affirmation, that's just stayed in that denial and an
I
opportunity.
think. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it, I'm done.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say I got one. I used to work for this company out of California. They were over here doing something, and the owner of the company and his wife were there, and they were well off in terms of money. Like he didn't fly over on a plane; he flew his own jet, and I think he's teaching his wife how to fly it back. Like they had money, and we were at the table after one thing had happened, like it was a presentation or something, and the owner's wife took an interest in my art at the time, and she was like, "You should reach out to me sometime." And in my head, I was like, "She's just being nice," And I just I let it like you said, I just let the time expire. I didn't pay it any mind. I actually left the table to go snorkeling instead, because some people was going snorkeling, and I cut my foot, so double whammy. So I missed the opportunity, and I got a big gash at the bottom of my foot. Couldn't go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me jump up in this joint. So I was my uncle, who was a preacher, kind of big time. He gives me a number, and this is when I came out, and I was like, I'm acting. That's what I'm trying to do. He's like, oh, okay. He gives me the number to Steven Spielberg. He was like, here you go, call this guy, and he'll be able to help you out. So I sat there. I'm like, bro, like, you're not gonna throw me an alley-oop or something? Like, you're not gonna say, hey, like, this ain't somebody you just call and be like, yo, so you gonna help me out? So I sat on it, and I sat on it, and I sat on it, and then finally I called. I was like, screw it. Lady picks the phone up. She's like, hold on. She comes back. She's like, so what do you want? I froze. I was like, to say hi.
Punked out. Punked out.
Now you look like a stalker weirdo.
Like, no, I was like, I know that wasn't gonna work. It was like, yeah, you know what? I was like, I'm sorry, I even bothered everybody today. Y'all have a good day.
Like Craig Caller.
But it was the whole thing. I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I don't know how I'm about to attack this. I don't know how I'm about to navigate this, but man, all right, screw it. And then it went all bad. But it went all bad because I was telling myself that it was going to go that way from Jump Street. And it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. So, yeah.
You know, before I share, I'm going to read the chat. So, or at least highlight, right? So I imagine you're gonna add on to this on the radio, but she says definitely so many instances since this is what she said not to give, right? Don't just give so many.
Yeah, that was
names.
horrible.
Right, I know.
But I
So
wasn't
many
gonna
names
say
in the
anything
past
because that's not my
pertaining-
woman, so I can't really bark on her.
Okay.
But it was bark worthy.
Yeah, that was weak because you were specifically told no bunch of pronouns or definitely so many instances. And I already told you about being vague and shifty anyway. So I don't even know why you typed that. But I'm sure you got more to type. That's the end of the story.
On to Uma Sequoia, who says there was a time that she had the opportunity to head up a homeschool co-op with other sisters, and she questioned whether or not she was equipped and pulled out like a coward. She said they were already in the planning stages. So you were able to even see how, it was already happening, but you still, that whatever that narrative was in your head, you stepped away. And then and on the radio also said to you, Akotiafe, when she was DJing a party and was introduced to, Luciano. And he was very down to earth, but self-defeating thoughts started creeping in and she never followed up at the end of the set. Yeah, as I was listening to all of the examples, I actually thought of the Anu Way. And the first time I read the Anu Way, like coming into Anu, I went through orientation, and I want to say a little while after orientation, the Anu Way was introduced. And I remember reading it aloud and taking in parts of it and thinking, wow, this is amazing, right? Like, yes, this is me. And in the beginning, it's like, yes, I could be a part of this vision. And then getting to the parts that pertain to woman and what I was charged with being and doing and what a woman functions and what a woman be, right? What she is to be, what an Anu woman is. And I remember just constantly thinking, I'm not that. I haven't been this. I haven't been that. I'm not that. I think the days of that have long gone. Like I burnt that up maybe 30 years ago. And instead of affirming and moving in that moment, moving in all that I knew I connected with, there were many times that I sat quiet, still showing up, but very quiet, because it was just like, all right, it's just a matter of time before I leave, because I'm not these things. And just sitting in the space, affirming in my mind what I was not, instead of aligning myself and my thoughts with the beauty of what the Anue was telling me I am, and even more so had the potential to be. Yeah, that's what came up for me. And it was only when I finally opened my mouth in the space, and yes, I remember I was sweating profusely, and I think I even cried towards the end, but it was like, all right, if I'm gonna be here, then let me actually be here, like be in the space and participate and engage. And I remember even saying then, like, my thing was that I didn't want to be seen. I like being in the background. I still do, but here I am, every third strong, right? So it's like, okay, never mind what I like. What am I charged to be in the space? And that's and how is that affirming something more in me? I touched on it earlier, but I really am grateful for the opportunity to be a part of these segments, because each time I call myself preparing, I also am acknowledging, because that's what I was instructed to do, acknowledge that it's not me bringing anything forward, but really just being a vessel for the best of what needs to come forward, right? So I may have all these notes and then we don't get to it because the journey takes us in a different direction, and not being beholden to, this was the script. But the creator and yeah, everything that is higher than me has a different script, and then I just flow, right? So thank you for the question. Thank you. Nothing yet from anyone else in the chat. I'm gonna keep acknowledging.
Yeah, someone in particular is supposed to be typing right
now.
now.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay, so with that, if there aren't any other responses to what the question she posed, we went through. What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna ignore the fuzzy camera.
Yeah, I mean, she on camera. I mean, she already said come with something better. I'm not,
because her camera is
it
so
was
clear.
The same
I'm gonna try to listen.
Said.
I was told
Like,
you can see all the dirt on
No, come up with something else.
Her camera is so clear.
Something else. Oh my gosh, something else.
Yeah, I know. It's just so difficult.
I thought she was
It's
coming
not
up all
like
that
you've
time.
ever been presented with something beautiful and wonderful that you didn't deserve, and you didn't act like you deserved it to fully receive it. That's never happened, right?
It has, but it's
all right. So let's hear about it.
I can't think of anything right now. I'm just on spot. I don't know.
All right, we'll wait.
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess as far as it relates to connecting with other people or making phone calls, no, because we connected. Well, no,
We'll wait. We'll wait. Go on till it makes sense. Have you ever been presented with something that you don't deserve?
Yes.
And
that's why I started with this experience.
And what did you do in that moment?
Froze, like I am now.
So what was the moment?
This one right now.
Right, but he said you're doing it like you did now. So what was the moment that you relate this moment to?
When from the middle school that my son was in, like they had different sponsors and things like that, and some of the people were very well off. And observing me, because I was the secretary of the PTA, so in various situations when I would volunteer and do different things, it was like, okay, call me for ABC or XYZ, let's connect, let's do lunch, let's just connect. And it was like, oh, okay. But then when I would get to the principal and she overheard, okay, well, I know so and so wants to connect with you. They have this, that, and the other. And like she was just giving me background information of them. And it gave apprehension, like, geez, what? I got to talk to them? How? Why? But in this moment, that's all I can think of right now. But
Yeah, that didn't make no goddamn sense. So why were you apprehensive?
because I didn't know what to say, what they were going to want.
So in general, when people want to talk to you, you're apprehensive.
When it's not in the moment, and it's like
So when a man comes up and says you're pretty, I want to take you to dinner, and he's handsome and he's everything you want, you don't know what to say in the moment. You just freeze.
No, dinner is
So then,
is a yes. It
then
was a
that
yes.
last statement wasn't true. Then
That wasn't for dinner.
I'm never gonna help you again. This isn't right. This ain't right. See, that's a freeze. You see your face now? You feel how your stomach feels right now? Yeah.
Yes.
Feel how if you wasn't on camera, you probably start crying, right? That's a freeze, not what you're describing. Where have you ever been brought that you thought was too good for you?
Into this experience.
All right, give me another one, because this ain't the only one. Guard it. See, this is why we can't take on the truth of the Most High, because we still trying to hold on to an old identity. All you're doing right now is trying to hold on to something that nobody even gives a damn about anymore. Holding on to it, you're guarding, trying to protect something that ain't worth nothing. You're building a wall around a pile of doo-doo. That's all that's happening right now. Look how dark it got in your room.
It did.
hmm Pay attention to all the signs. What are you guarding? Nothing. Who was the song Shadow Purpose about?
Myself.
Did y'all know I wrote that song about Naya? Now you know. I wrote 2 songs about Naya without her knowing. Shadow Purpose and Love Hella Right. They're both about her. Yeah, and you're like, what? Well, I didn't get no song about me.
Well,
I'm like, wow, that's so dope. Like, I wasn't even thinking, why not? What about me? I'm like, that's dope. Like,
Yeah, she don't even deserve it. See that? 2 songs to try to teach her something. She didn't even know they were about her. But I knew she was going to transcribe the lyrics, and I said, well, when she transcribes them, maybe she'll pick up a gem. Chief always chiefing, even when you don't think he's chiefing. Chief chiefing right now. Took all this damn time to get on this live. You got a mother effing phone, the same phone you using right now. I'm on a laptop. Go and make up something. Your phone has data on it. You don't have a $17 cell phone only plan.
No, I don't.
I'm moving about too. Hmm. I could push this narrative and make you say something.
No, I have no excuse. I could have.
No, I did not. No, no, no. We ain't talking about an excuse. We
Yes, sir.
talking about affirmations. When has something beautiful been put in front of you and you didn't affirm it, so you went back to the sunken place? Because if you stand on something that's dissolving, you're sinking. When have you been in denial about something that you should have embraced and moved forward on?
Who I am, what I can be, who I can
No, no,
be.
no, specifically.
Coming to mind now is a better writer.
I don't understand that.
Because there are things that I'm supposed to have finished writing and I haven't done anything with them.
Why not?
No reason.
Then that doesn't make sense based on the question if you don't even know the reason. We're talking about what you haven't affirmed.
The reason is the same as before, just fear. Fear if it's gonna be good enough.
You just said no reason. How is there a reason 10 seconds later?
It's fear. Everything is based around fear.
I'm going to beat the hell out of your demon today. I'm going to F your demon up. Mm-hmm. What have you not embraced? What have you been promised, but you denied? What has the Most High told you that you have not embraced or did not embrace and denied it and put yourself back into hell? Give me something.
Job opportunities.
Like what? What job opportunity? Where? Wawa? What? What's going on?
No,
Target?
no, no, just saying where I am, being content in where I am, and waiting through the process, being patient.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So you saying the Most High promised you a job and what?
I'm not saying I was promised a job. I'm just thinking if I would have been
I'm
patient.
stomping all in your demon's chest right now. Stomping with these size 12, stomping your demon all in the chest. Come on, what was you talking about? Let me hear it.
It's not valid.
You poking your head from around the monster. You know how the monster be on somebody in a movie and he'd be like, I'm still in here. Help me, save me. And then the monster takes back over. That's what's happening right now. See, if you would have signed on early, you wouldn't have got this ass whooping. What has the Most High promised you? Nothing?
I don't
Hell,
know
you ain't supposed to be
specifically.
around us then. Shoot. You gonna mess us up.
No, I'm not.
Are you an Amorite? Have you traced your lineage to the ancient Moabites?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know it's rough. It's rough when it get real. What did
I
the Most
can't
High tell you? The Most High never told you anything?
just better.
Hmm. Get it out. This is one of the funniest, wittiest, most personality having sisters we have in our new. So all this tongue tied We know this ain't her. Kavod peh. Anybody know what that means? That's what Moses had. Kavod means heavy. It's the word that was used whenever they talked about the glory of the Most High. The glory of the Lord. The word was not glory. It translates into kavod, which means heavy. Peh means mouth.
No.
Kavod. Yeah. We just keep pointing for you, Kara Eden. That's the only word you know.
Because it was in my name. Yes.
She's like, y'all gonna give me this one.
I want that.
Chance may not come back again.
I got it.
Kavod peh, heavy mouth. That's what Moses had. That's why he was stuttering over there, like a dullard. Has the Most High ever told you if you do something, something else will happen? Something good will happen?
If I be obedient, I will receive blessings.
What you saying, huh?
I said, if I'm obedient, I will receive blessings.
Where does it say that? Where does it say that? If I'm obedient, I will. Don't be making
That's
up
what
no
it said.
freaking
I just
scriptures.
said that.
Just because y'all reading the Book of Mormons now, I read it before y'all. I don't think you could try to slip in no fake scriptures in there. Cleanliness next to godliness.
No.
In the Book of Mormon.
Wash your hands and say the alphabet. The Most High says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed. I am your Yah. I am your strength. I am your help. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You never heard nothing like that, huh?
Yes.
You will keep in perfect peace whose minds are steadfast and trust in you. Ever heard that one?
Yes.
Yah himself goes before you. He will never leave nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged. You ever heard any promises from Yah?
Yes.
Okay. So which ones have you heard that you did not embrace?
Those relating to fear.
Which ones?
Fear not, I am with you.
Mm-hmm. So you don't believe that Yah is with you. See, we beating the hell out of that demon. Now you actually helping me a little bit. We tag teaming on it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a good bowel movement after this. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear it screaming and you feel like, "No, you can't do it without me. You need me." The Elohim Yah makes firm the steps of those who delight in him. Though I may stumble, I will not fall, for the Elohim upholds me with his hand. Another promise. So the Most High told you he's with you and you don't believe it. You deny it. That's what you're saying.
At times, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So wouldn't that be an example of not embracing the promise?
Yes.
Does not embracing it work well for you? Does it
It
keep
does
you
not.
safe? Okay, it doesn't. So it's something that you're doing that doesn't even work for you.
Correct.
I told you I was gonna go to your storage space, rent a pickup, and pick up your crap. Did you believe I wasn't gonna do it?
No, I believe you were gonna do it.
Oh, so you believe my promises, but you don't believe the promises of Yah. How you know I didn't steal something? How you know when we moved that sofa into the truck that there wasn't some money or something stuck in the side of the cushion? I ain't steal it off you. you believe me. Don't sit here staring at the screen. You know I don't like when y'all do that. Makes me want to kill this whole movement. Everybody go home. Push past that demon. Push past the demon. Push it. Push it out the way. Go on.
I see the Most High in you, so that's why I believed you.
Uh-huh.
I watch your
Okay.
movements.
So that's a promise that you embrace.
Yes.
hmm So you need somatic physical proof to believe that something is real. Something isn't real because you believe it.
I'll say most of the time, but not all the time.
hmm Why'd I make an example out of you? This guy, Chief Yuya, is horrible. I was a nice sister. He did that to that sweet sister.
You do what's necessary.
Why do I do what's necessary? Who's over there whispering?
Sorry. I'm a mute out.
Ain't no whispering on Yom Rishon.
It's 7. It's right 7.
I didn't even know you can hear me. I'm sorry.
I hear everything. I see everything and I hear everything.
Word. All right.
I will instruct you and teach you in the way that you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. As said by Yahuwah. So why did I make an example out of you?
You show me the way I should go. Make an example. So others
Stop
can
mumbling. You got all that attitude when we talking about if y'all playing that game at the dining room table and you winning, you got all this loud attitude. But now when we talking about doing something real, what's the name of that stupid game y'all was playing? Scruples, morals, unscrupulous. What's the name of it?
Anomia.
Dongs, annoying. That was the name. What? That wasn't the name. Annoying.
Anomia. What? Yeah, anomia.
Anomia.
Yes. Wasn't that it?
Anomia.
Anomia.
I call cat. I don't think that's a word that was on the side of that box. Yeah, I think y'all got it wrong. It might have said like ammonium. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. So that means my eye doesn't come off you. Yeah. So what happens when we're given instruction, we're given guidance, and we don't follow it?
It can be taken away. It will be taken away.
Yeah, because the Most High says, don't be anxious in everything. He says, but in every situation, use petitions and affirmations with thanksgiving. Present your requests to the Most High. And the peace of the Most High, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Yahweh. So if you did that, you wouldn't be sometimey with the faith. You know, the basis of affirmation is faith. If you have no faith, you can't affirm anything. That is the core energy, an engine of an actual affirmation is faith. Because all the affirmation is an idea that you choose to verbalize, but it's a divine idea that you choose to verbalize. So you use absolute language in order to manifest it. But you're manifesting a statement of fact that exists in the place of nowhere. It exists where there's no matter. So in order to create a statement of fact where no matter exists, where it becomes a matter, you have to use accurate language. You have to use the right name. You have to use terms that invoke the correct vocabulary. That's all faith. I remember one time in my life kneeling on the edge of my bed and praying for a red 1987 Nissan Pathfinder 2-door, brand new. I prayed and I was very exact. I want a manual stick shift. I don't want no automatic. Sunroof, red, 1987. That's what I want. You know, I got that exact truck. It was like 20 years later, so it was vintage. But I got that same exact joint. Got it for free. My man Peter owned a body shop. And he laced the truck. It was late. It was pimped out. It was red. And he was getting ready to go away for a little while. And he was like, yo, you can have my truck. I was like, I can have this joint? He was like, it's yours. It was the exact truck I prayed for in 86, 87. I used the exact language. I would have got it sooner if I hadn't forgotten about it. Because in the Maximas, I was like, man, I want the Maxima. So I went and got a Maxima and said that was the car back, especially in '89. We was killing them with the Maximas.
It's big with the West Indians, I know that much.
Yeah, well, they kind of creeped in on some of that too, but it was more of a me kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
But they used to put the name Maxima on the bottom rocker panel. Yeah, like we don't know it's a Maxima. There's nothing else shaped like that, like a box, like a little tiny box. Maxima, and then it'd be Maxima on the windshield again.
Yeah.
Maxima.
The windshield, yeah.
Then it'd be the Crown air freshener on the dashboard.
You gonna know it's a Maxima.
Okay, Ainsley. My boy, Ainsley. McCarr. So yeah, we back to you, Naya. We ain't get off you. We beating that demon up. So how are we going to support our sister to make sure that she's always consistently standing on the promises of Yah? She said she was afraid. You said you was afraid, right, Naya?
Yes.
What's the opposite of fear?
Faith.
Nope.
No.
Anybody know?
Trust.
You're all horrible students. The opposite of fear is love.
Love casts out fear.
Yeah. Terrible students. You should go over to your doors and your doorways and just slam yourself in the middle of the door about 3 times. Yeah. Do that after the show is over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Rough yourself up a little black on black crime. Okay. Love is the opposite of fear. What's love?
Connection.
Okay, connection. So if you were connected more, then you would be able to stand on those promises more without fear. Don't give me no slight nod. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You sure? Run it back to me. Let me hear it. This turned into a whole class, didn't it? If somebody showed up late. That's what you got to do when they show up late. You got to make an example out so they never do it again.
I need to connect more
with what?
Huh?
You heard me. If you can hunt, you can hear. Connect more to what?
Connect more to my brothers and sisters and to the Most High. To my brothers.
You already doing that. Connect more to your. Didn't y'all just do yoga in the park the other day? Up there shooting your butts all up in the air and everything, and the viper snake pose, the vicious three-legged crab, the one-legged dog, the brown spotted cow.
Sorry.
Was y'all doing all them poses? The tarantula monkey grab. Monkey bread pinch. Y'all was doing all that. So it ain't about connecting with them Negroes and Negresses.
Being connected to the Most High.
Scared to connect to Yah, huh? I'd be scared if I was you. All that stuff that you was told that you didn't do, you don't want to hear that. What you looking to the side for? Side can't save you. How we gonna help our sister? Cause see that demon trying to creep back in. A demon in her ear right now. I see it. You ain't get. They don't know your story. They don't know how hard you've had it. This is so mean. Couldn't he just did this in private? No, he busy. He do it when he do it. Should have showed up on time. Tell the demon, no, you shouldn't have been scaring me out of just showing up on time and having me come with some weak excuse. You know he's from New York. Their game is more futuristic than Baltimore. I can't trick him. You should have known I couldn't have tricked him. Yeah. What we gonna do to help our sister connect more?
Well, she could
Kick that demon in the chest. You know how we see it.
Mm-hmm. Got to stomp it out. You got to use illegal chokeholds on it.
Yeah, and it will be, through doing, right? So if the fear is being on here, then being on here more, speaking, leading study session.
Man, she'll explode. She come out, her heart already about to pump out her chest. Imagine just how sweaty she is. Probably a puddle underneath her.
I've been sweaty too. Trust me, I was sweaty the other day. Trust me.
She can't take it. She can't take the pressure. What did we just determine she needs more of in her life?
Love.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akizak. Love. So how do we help our sister?
Connect with them more.
How?
I don't know. I gotta get a plane ticket or something. But
So you get flowed out.
Flowed out.
I got flowed out.
Got flowed out, right?
Flowed out, right.
I flowed all the way out, girl.
Yeah. Got fluted out. Got fluted.
Right. So y'all don't know how to love people.
To just connect.
Where you going?
I gotta get my charger.
All right, we'll wait.
I just had to get the cord.
Yeah. I hear. That's what my granddaddy used to say, man. Don't give him no room to breathe. He'd always say, man, I used to deal with my children. Hey, boy, you got to keep your foot in their chest. Don't give them no room to breathe. You got to stay. You know how you are. You're a gorilla. Stay on them. He would always say that to me. You a gorilla. Keep your foot in their chest. Yeah, he couldn't pronounce gorilla for some reason. Gorilla.
Gorilla. Zebra. Giraffe.
Yeah. Giraffe.
Giraffe.
They from the same school. You got to keep your foot in their chest. So y'all don't know how to love her.
Connection could be even with knowing what she has to do. If you're supposed to be a writer and you're not writing, then we got to even put our foot in your chest with that.
We don't know she's supposed to be a writer. We don't know that's what she's supposed to do.
We just assuming that it's a cover story.
Let me tell you something about this sister right here. This sister got magic hands. Her hands don't fit her body. If you ever seen her hands, they just look like they were slapped on, like they was almost done, and they was just like, F it, just throw these on there. You know what I mean? But they're not. But if they move right, they work right. Come on, I'm trying to get out of here. Angels is like, yo, mad traffic, son. I'm trying to get out of here.
You're trying to get to the fish fry.
Right, exactly. Trying to get the fish fry. Give you some more 10-cent cigars.
Right.
Just throw it on it. You know what I'm saying? So they ended up giving her some superhero hands.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I do call her the fastest arms in the West because she quick with them arms.
Yeah, be crocheting up. She make you a whole freaking do a whole cover for your house, car cover, all that. Do that in like 10 minutes.
House cover.
Right.
Yeah, in case you got a fumigate.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hit the house.
Mhm. She put the whole
It's
thing on it, man.
hurricane
She
season
Go
right
get the
now,
bed
so-
bugs out of there. Go on, get them.
Yeah. I might need you to hook me up, Emanite. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she crochet up a raincoat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take
You know?
about 5 rain seasons for it to get there.
Stop. I think that it is
That's
not.
only if she put a design in it. If she puts a design in it, then that slows everything up. Yeah.
Okay.
She got superhero hand. Anything she put her hand to, she excels at. That's one thing about her. She got special hands. You see? So she's saying I'm supposed to be writing. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things she could do. I promise you, you put a paintbrush in her hand. I never seen her paint, but I bet you she could paint.
Mm-hmm.
You put an instrument in her hand. I bet she could play instrument. She
So
got them
writing is a
special
side
kind of
effect.
hands. What's that?
So the writing is like a symptom or a side effect, and ain't really the.
It's just another
Awesome.
extra thing she could do, man. She got magic powers. Some people are like that. They just, anything they touch. Heck, you should know you got one in your house. You mean it's the same way.
Yep.
You mean it don't do anything whack. If you notice, she never does anything you'd be like, yo, this is so corny. It's everything she does is good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. She got special powers too. But this one over here, she's like the type that you have make a axe or something for you if you had to go up against a dragon, Voldemort or something. Yeah. Have me forge. She's a forger. You know? So yeah, so the writing, I don't care nothing about that. You know. But if we were to really love her, we would really get to know who she is.
Mhm. Yeah, that wouldn't be news to me.
Mm-hmm. But she ain't gonna let you know who she is. So how you gonna love on her?
Be around more. Oh, sorry.
I mean, it's in the same vein. Go ahead, Emma.
Yeah, I was just thinking if she's not gonna let me, then I would have to be around her more.
Yeah, but you know she's moody.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you can't take but a couple hours when you start, like, all right, this was beautiful. All right, let me walk into your car.
Like, jeez, go on get.
Yeah, because she gets nasty.
It's getting dark. You sleepy.
Right, you know she go to bed at 8 o'clock.
I know that.
Exactly.
I know bedtime is early, and I know what happens when she gets.
She about to start taking it down in a little while. Another 20 minutes.
Shower, a nighttime shower too. Right.
We can't be around her that much. How do we love her? Hey, Naya, are you lovable?
Yes.
Why you say it so softly?
Because I am. Like, I am.
That was loud up.
What makes you lovable?
Once you get to know me.
Oh, how do we get past all of the moats and freaking acid-filled lava pits to get to know you?
I have to be more open.
You have to be more open. So how do we love you? How would you like to be loved? Food. I know food. Don't even put that in there. Hush puppies and soup dumplings with soup and
I mean, if we're gonna talk about food,
right, but we're not though.
No.
How do you want us to love you?
I don't know. Just show more of yourselves to make me show more of myself.
Do you know or do you not know?
I'm thinking maybe I don't know. I don't. Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how to be loved. That's what you're saying.
No. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Okay. Do you think you could love any of us?
Yes, I
How
do.
would how would you love Sister Yafe?
Listening to all of her stories.
Oh God.
That's a lot of listening.
She likes
So
to
much
tell
love in the world.
stories.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's love overboard.
Giving her ideas for beating. I don't know. Like I think I realized. Yeah, was it yesterday? Yesterday,
Somebody said buy a camera stabilizer.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I have a stabilizer. It is on this right
Tell
now.
Menelec that. Oops.
Menelec said it.
So Yafe, if she helped you with your beating and listened to your long, drawn out, boring stories, would you then feel loved?
Yes, I guess.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So she's pretty easy to make feel loved. That's but like I always say, women are the world's suckers. That's love to her. Listen to my boring stories and give me ideas for beating, and then now to tell me that you love me. You said yes.
I did.
Let your yay be your yay or your nay be your nay.
Okay.
Remember that?
Nay. Sorry.
Nay.
Nay.
All right, nay. So you wouldn't feel loved. So why don't you tell Naya how to love you?
It would be to, yes, the stories, but it would also include.
Look at the clock. The bird's like liar.
Don't listen.
Oh man,
Hey.
that's good. That's good.
Right. How to love you?
Okay. I think it is a yay. Because what I was gonna say was like I like to be listened to or heard. And it doesn't have to be the stories, but it's like to actually be listened to. Like, so if I'm saying something like, trying to really understand it, what I'm saying. So like even if it's wrong, we can come to a, like, okay, I get what you were thinking. Kind of like that.
You want to be understood.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When you're being confrontative.
Yes. All of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know Menelec. I know, but we, for the sake of time, we gotta, you know what I mean? we gotta pretend that some of this is all right.
This is a story we're making.
It really is. Because you see, she's building up. Her freaking leg is probably bopping up and down right now.
Me?
She's about to take that deep breath. Like, okay, all right. This will be really quick. So a couple of years ago, right? That's how she starts every story. Okay. This will be really quick. It's never really quick. Okay, you Eden. How would you love Naya? Oh, you already gave that horrible answer. So Naya, how would you love Yakira Eden? Yeah. Cap.
Showing up and supporting her with her youth. Asking when we're gonna do yoga again.
Putting her back to work.
It's not work.
You sure? Yakira Eden, is it easier for you to do yoga by yourself or to do yoga with a group of women who don't normally do yoga?
It's easier to do yoga by myself.
All right, that's all I wanted. Thank you. Back to you, Nye.
I knew it. Darn it.
Doing all that blinking and rocking back and forth. I knew it was getting ready to come next.
Just showing up for her, like when she needs things. She doesn't say, I need help. So just recognizing when she does and being there.
But never telling her that that's an active ego and she needs to stop because she's separating herself from Yah by being so egotistical. Don't do that part.
I think I may have once or twice, but not in that way. That's not the words I use.
Did it in your Naya way. Yeah, just stunk up the room with attitude. You know. So we still don't know how to love you though, Naya. Do I love you or do I hate you?
You
Answer the
love
question.
me.
Don't be cute. Okay.
You love me.
How do you know I love you?
The time you invest in me.
The time. So if someone just hangs around for a while, and that means they love you.
Not necessarily, no.
How am I investing time?
One, by talking, because you're busy. You make the time and take the time to speak to me in different ways.
How do you know I'm not trying to get you to write me into your will, like so many other crooked preachers do? You don't know what you're gonna have 10 years from now. I know what you're going to say. I see potential. I see will potential.
Abundance is gonna rain down.
I see a back will potential.
I want it all.
Right. Mm-hmm. Antique watches and all that. You got my crochet needles. What? Yeah, these are the stabby. These are my new stabbies. Mm-hmm. So what does it look like? I invest time. So you said you didn't know that you wanted to be loved, but you just showed me how you're being loved.
When it's genuine time invested or genuine time spent.
What's the difference between genuine time and inauthentic time?
Okay, authentic time. Genuine, authentic.
What's the difference between authentic time and inauthentic time? I still say it's still the same question.
Not someone just being around and being there, taking up space. So if I say something, they hear me, but they're not listening.
Oh, like when I messaged you at 12:12 today and said support your sister on the live.
I didn't see
and I looked and saw that it was red. You mean like that or something different?
Didn't see it.
That's a question, like that or something different?
Something different.
Okay, like what?
It would just take someone being present, being there and being present.
So if somebody just hangs around with you for a while, then you'll say they love me.
No.
If they're fully present, listening to you and engaging with you, and they do that for an extended period of time, then you will feel love.
It has to be a connection there.
There has to be a connection. What kind of connection? What are you connecting on? What are you using to connect?
It would be the Most High.
Just because you say the Most High doesn't shut me up.
No. I mean, it's
So
not
the
like
Most High is what's connecting you with the person.
that's what should be connecting me with the person. Anything outside of that would be connecting to the wrong thing.
How do you spell love in Hebrew?
Aleph,
Yeah.
Aleph,
Mhm.
Vet,
Nobody asked you, Yafe.
Aleph, Hey, Vet, Hey.
Okay, I'll take that. Okay. Ahava. Do you know what those letters mean?
I know what they represent.
Mm.
Some of the things that they represent.
Mm-hmm.
The Aleph being the first, the unseen, the bull, the Hey, look, behold, the Vet is the house.
That's all you really need because the root of Ahava is Ahav, right? So it's technically just Aleph, Het, and Vet, right? So Aleph is the strength of man, right? Why you writing notes, Shakira Eden, so you can steal this later? I said it here first. Timestamp.
Busted. Go
Yeah,
back to the
because
tapes. I
and then
got
you
to
know how
record
to
it.
do it.
I'm
So of
recording
course
it.
Aleph, right? Aleph, right? We all know that it means the strength of man, right? Right. And then right. Yeah, we know your style. Hmm. It means the strength of man, right? That's what we have for Aleph. And then Hey, right, is composed of a Vav and a Resh. Resh means what?
The head,
The chief, the head, the chief.
Buddha.
And Vav means what?
the connector. It connects.
Right.
It connects
Vav means to connect, a connection, right? And Bet means what? Or Vet,
the house
the
inside.
house. The woman, the enclosure where there is safety and protection, right? So Ahav is the strength of man, right? Connecting the Most High to the house. But Bet is also Bayit, which means woman, right? Just say right. I know you ain't been
Right,
studying your notes, but just say right so we can get through
right.
this. So Ahav is the strength of man connecting the Resh or the head to the woman. So how do we love you?
Connecting your strength to me.
That's what everybody else thinks too. Come on, join in. What you got? Yeah, and stop mouthing stuff, Yafe. Say it out loud. You too scared to be wrong in front of everybody?
Sorry, we started mowing the lawn and I like interfered.
Yeah. What you got?
You said the strength of man, so find a mate.
If y'all don't stop talking about finding a mate and being covered, oh my God.
Okay, sorry.
There's other things going on in the world other than you getting your back twisted.
That is not even what I was saying.
Yeah, we know what love is to you. What do we got here?
Okay. The strength of man connected to a woman. Is that what
Was anyone listening?
you said?
Right.
No,
So
I can't really hear. I'm sorry.
would it be the strength of the creator, that first man? So the strength of Yah being the connection to woman or to the house. That
or
being
the
the
strength of Yah's ambassador on earth, because Aleph is the yoke,
right.
man's ambassador. But what's the root of the word Ahav? Hav, if you didn't
How?
know. Hav, hit and vav. What does that mean? It means to give,
To the
as I've
strength it's
taught
given
you before. So it means to give. So how would we love?
by
By
giving.
giving.
By giving. That's it.
By giving Yah's, giving what Yah is already giving to us.
What's the other word for giving in Hebrew?
Yafe.
Natan. Natan is the other word. Nun tav nun. What do you notice about Natan? Whether in English or whether in Hebrew.
Starts with the N and it ends with the N. That noon is,
That's it?
and you can read it backwards and yeah. So
Right. You could read it the same way each way. So what does that mean?
It's
It's
a bi-directional exchange.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a bidirectional exchange. It's a cipher within itself. It's a closed loop. So if I give to you, you got to give to me. And that is the root of love. A two-way exchange is the Natan, Nun Tav Nun. So we love her through what we create. Love isn't just something that's going to be there. We have to create love through what we do, through our actions. We create love. How do you want to be given into, Naya? Oh God. Start burping there.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess community wise, just thinking about it.
Nah, just I ain't saying that about no community.
Okay. I don't know. I would say being supported more. I don't know. Okay, Chiefs volume went out.
okay. Did you say his audio went? Oh, he went
No,
out.
he said his volume
Okay.
went out, and yeah, and he went out.
Okay.
That's not how the story goes again.
So what, like, but then based on what we were just told about what giving is, can you see how we can give to you? Like how that would look like love? Because I know you were saying you don't know, but
Yeah, because I mean, I connect with sisters in different ways, so I don't know, maybe just more connecting more. I'm not sure.
Is love only connecting?
Love is also giving. But giving and receiving, is it like I'm sorry, it reminded me of even-handedness. So
It could be.
like for example, when it's after Naya
it's like the the birds attacked you.
Bullet. Oh, it made me think of when Psalms Diane said, "You give me your time," and it's like, time objectively may not be the deciding factor for love, but your time is important because you have a lot of stuff going on. You have enough to do, but you may negate from that to make sure that she's good, and her giving her time may not be the equivalent of you giving your time, but she can give something of like value to her, similar to when Yahweh was talking about the lady who came to the temple with like a small offering, but she gave everything she had.
Widow and two mites.
Yeah. To me, that was an act of love too. For the sister to just give everything she had, like whatever I have, I'll give to you, to make sure that, I'll give it to you.
How can we affirm something if we don't even know what it is?
Can't.
We wouldn't be able to, right?
Would it be possible to affirm something that you can't? I'm sorry, we know how to ask a question in the middle of your question.
One of the things I said, in order to affirm something, you have to have clear vocabulary. You have to have relative vocabulary. So if I say something that's abstract and I have no relative understanding of it, then it will never manifest. I want love. What's love? I don't know. How do you relate to love? I don't know. So you don't even have a relative connection with this term, but you affirm it, you'll never get it.
Yeah, so that's a no.
But this is important because we just talking about Naya, but I went around the room right now, y'all all be doing the same thing she doing, stuck.
We did that before you got on Naya.
Yeah. But we had to make an example of Naya because she didn't come in when I told her to come in. She wasn't obedient. Yeah, so we had to deal with her. We had to break off something proper like. Don't be laughing, you carry.
I'm just smiling.
I jump over to your square now.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Well, that was my hour and a half contribution.
Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say when I came on. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, Naya. So we got to give to each other. We got to know how to give it to each other, and we can't be afraid to say what we want to receive, and we can't be afraid to say what we have to give. You can't be embarrassed about that. If I say, "Hey, I got a poem for you. I want to write a song for you," or whatever, or "Hey, Zach, you're a big guy, man. I know it's probably been a long time since your pops was able to pick you up in his arms and throw you up in the air. Let's go over by the lake. I'm gonna pick you up by the water side. I'm gonna slam you into the water so you can feel like a child again."
Better you than me. I can say. Better you
That's
than
the
me.
love. That's the love I got, brother. That's the kind of man I am, brother. That's the love I got for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? To give you a flashback of your childhood. You know what I'm saying?
That might be the wrong flashback.
Yeah, so however we giving it, and we have to give that boldly. That's where that connection is. What's going on?
Right in the checkout line.
Yeah, it sounds like that's not me though.
Somebody. Yes, somebody. We all in the house.
Yeah, well, I ain't got no checkout line.
She buying them.
Sound like an
She
ATM
buying them
machine
10-cent
to me.
cigar.
Sound like the first digit of the PIN number. And remember, his mic was open. I ain't gonna get
Yeah,
that
so
PIN
buy a
audio.
10-cent cigar, brother.
Right.
10-cent cigar.
Mammy Sunday jug wine.
Well,
Come on, take it over. You care eating. Let's see. Take it up another level and then take it out. See what you got. Or maybe Zach got something to say. Maybe somebody's gonna help this poor child.
No, y'all lost me with the ahava. I was gone.
all right.
Yeah, I see it. You was on some network connections, brother. The video went in and out.
Yeah, I started glitching.
No, he turned his camera off for a moment.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
But it sounds like a lot of, well, not a lot, but it sounds like, well, when you touched on the components of love and ahav, reciprocity came to mind, and just the value of us maintaining a reciprocal relationship, not expecting or like demanding it, but really bringing my heart of wanting to give to the space, or wanting to give or connect with a sister. And I will use an example, Imanaya. The way that our connection evolved was through just that. And one of the ways that you've helped me to be able to say, hey, I need help, or I don't feel well, is the fact that you were consistently checking on me, right? It created, like, you knowing that something was happening with me created an opportunity for our relationship to expand. And as I learned, oh wow, she's actually really loving. I didn't know that, because you hadn't
She's
ever
actually
right. I was gonna say, right, because you didn't
might catch
present
that?
with that. No, and I said it. Yeah, I said it on purpose.
Pleasant
because
surprise.
You didn't. I had never observed that in observing you as a rectangle on the screen, or even in interacting with you. The first time I interacted, I think, was at the retreat, and you hid in the kitchen. Like, that's how I perceived it. Like, you were staying in the kitchen. That was it. And it was almost like you were holding on to that sinking stove, instead of connecting with the sisters and brothers in the space. But through what we exchanged, I learned, oh, okay, she's actually loving, and this is one of the ways that she shows it. And then it reinforced in me, okay, I can be safe to say, this is what's happening, and that it'll be, that we can and support you and find out what it is you're doing and how I can be that for you. So that's some of what I got, and I see how that would connect to affirmation, because there may be a moment where we need to affirm in one another what is true. And yes, we can start with the word, and we can start with what our heads reflect, and like we can start there. But the more we get to know each other, the more enlivened the words of affirmation can be, because they're more true. They're more true.
Would y'all say, though, that sometimes reciprocity might be what jams some people up, because they feel like I can't give it back the way that I received it, so therefore I don't know, or maybe they just don't know what they could give. So just like the example you gave of when, and I'm not bailing you out, but like if somebody just stays in the kitchen because I don't really know what to give, but I know at least I can start with this, then therefore I'm just going to do this, because I think that will be my way of giving back. But the real bigger thing is I don't really know what to give.
Right.
It might cause somebody in a paralysis state of, all right, I'm here and I feel like I'm getting, but I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, I would say that it could be like, that would be leaning on an excuse, because we're told, like, my reciprocity to Chief can't be that I'm gonna give him what he gave me. I can't. it ain't even possible. So, but that does. Oh, was that me?
What the heck happened?
I don't know. My whole, did that happen for everyone? Like,
It's the Matrix.
It was just you.
it was
Yeah.
just me. Yeah, all the everything reset. But it doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't. It doesn't negate the fact that I need to be willing and able to give what I do have, similar to what Master Menelik shared, right? Even if this is all that I have, am I giving something? And where am I giving it from? Right? So sometimes I'll say sometimes what may happen is I may not see value in anything that I have to give. So then I give nothing. That's not acceptable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So one, when they would lock themselves in the kitchen, that's just not doing nothing though. They're doing something, but ultimately it's a way that I don't really have to explore or open up or maybe connect with other people. But it is also a comfort zone that I can say, well, I'm doing something.
Right. And that could be the first step. And that's why I used that to say, I wasn't saying that wasn't reciprocity. I was just saying I didn't get to know how loving she was by observing that, by having that experience. Right. But that's one step, and then there's another layer, and then there's more, because even in getting to know Imanaya or Saftanaya, even now, I only know but so much. What Chief just did over the past hour and a half, it told us all so much more. So it's just like, it's layers, right? Layers of an onion, because there's so many layers to us. That's how I would see it. So, but even with what Chief shared about, okay, well, nobody know these songs were written. There's this connection of the six of us, but then there's everyone else or the love that's being given and exchanged between us. But then there are those who may be receiving something that are just not active in the chat. So they're just like taking. But they've received. So there should be a charge or an expectation within them to now, how do I now give? Because I was a part of what was just given. And things are about to get very noisy here. I have a 3 o'clock horde of youth showing up. So,
all right. So look, but here's the thing too, though. I'll answer some of that. She didn't just hide in the kitchen. She had, put your John on mute, please.
I'm trying to find the mute button.
Good. Shuffling the mute button around too.
It's the mic. Get the mic.
Look at it squinting. How did children help you? Oh, what is she doing? Come help your mama.
You're muted.
Goodness. She didn't just hide in the kitchen. She actually worked in the kitchen the entire time. So I thought that was, I mean, I knew, okay, yeah, she's not, it wasn't just that she wasn't socializing per se until I forced her out the kitchen, which I'm sure she remembers.
Yes.
But it was, this is how I relate to this moment, because this is where I feel sure. This is where I feel confident. I know I can be in here, I can make food, and I can serve. So to me, there was a desire to serve. But it was like, this is what I know I can do. You know, and yeah, maybe I'm not totally comfortable around everyone yet. I'm forcing it, you know, and I'm trying, but this is my way of connecting to you. That's how I looked at it. Now, I never said that to her, and we never talked about it, but that's how I perceived it. You know, because the reality is Maria does the same thing. You know, but it's not that she doesn't want to be around it. Just like when we have fireside, Maria is always the last one out. She's in the kitchen cleaning up. And then when she comes to the fireside, she's just silent, staring at the fire. But, you know, have something and don't invite Maria and watch what happens. You know what I'm saying? Watch what happens. So she wants to be there, but in her way that she relates to the space the best. But Naya, you could explain it. Speak up. And don't say, no, that's true. You know, that Baltimore way to talk. That's true. Everything you just said is true. When I went to school, I was the same way.
As far as the retreat goes, it was a new experience. So I don't just hop out there like, hey, how you doing? I'm not gonna do that. I'm just not.
You're just not gonna jump up in somebody's arms or anything like that.
That's different. It felt very familiar. I shared that. But that I didn't have that I didn't feel that connection with anyone else, like with other people. And it takes time to establish. Like I did feel a sense of connection to Okoti Maria Maksha at that time, but that was because of something that had happened. So it was just something that has to be established with everyone to make me open up and just be 100% vulnerable, I guess.
Or just
I was with you until you said that.
Huh?
I was with you. But if you're not willing to open up to other people, then why would they open up to you?
I mean, I'm willing. It's just not, I'm not gonna walk up and just, I don't know. Well, no, because I can and I have. It depends on the moment. Just observing what's going on and seeing how I can, if I can, connect in whatever way.
So judging in the moment of saying that, okay, this person's cool, this person's not cool, so I'll speak to them, but I won't speak to them.
No, I speak to everyone.
That's not what you just said.
I speak to everyone. It's just figuring out ways to establish connection.
So ways to keep people at bay.
No, just how to figure out how to connect.
But you're not trying to figure out how to. That's why I said I was with you up until you just said that. Because if you're not willing to open and be vulnerable, then why would anybody be open and vulnerable with you? So how is there any connection there when you're already coming in guarded? You already have a fixed narrative in your head of what's going to come or what's going to happen from this relationship. So I'm going to prevent all of that and just give you just a little bit to say, yeah, me and you cool.
I wouldn't say that. And I guess I'm thinking about just how much things can transpire from speaking, from a greeting, or just sitting next to someone that I wouldn't, normally just have a conversation with. And conversation arises.
Are you cool with small talk?
Am I cool with small talk?
Is there echo in here?
I just want to be clear. And
yes or no, yay or nay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yay or nay. Anything else is evil.
I want to say no.
Yay or nay?
No.
So
see how that demon worked? See how I had a drip, and I said yay or nay, and she said no. She still didn't really say what I said.
Nay.
See how that works? It's too late now. We see it's back. See, the thing is, this is a transcendental moment for a lot of people listening, because a lot of people function that same way you're describing, with fear. And then it takes someone else to go above and beyond for you to feel comfortable. But what if that person doesn't feel like going above and beyond that day? Then you miss out on what the connection could truly be. But it's not just Naya. I mean, it's a bunch of people coming in through the door that way. I'm just watching. I'm just looking. I'm quiet. I don't know what to say. I don't want to say something wrong. You guys are so smart. So now it takes someone to go like, hey, no, come on, and make a fool out of themselves for you to feel like, okay, I'm comfortable because they're fools. That's a common issue. So this is really a teaching moment to realize that, yeah, you're able to answer Zach's questions. but you're answering it from a wrong premise. Like you say, yeah, I might have a conversation, we might be cool with it. But that's so slow in terms of what it could unfold to be, and you're still operating out of fear. Why not just be 100% authentic when you walk through the door? And even if that authenticity says, you know what, I'm nervous right now, but I'm nervous because I'm excited. This seems so cool. And I think I'm probably going to say a couple of things that don't make any sense. And I feel like maybe you guys are beyond me too, but I don't mind being the runt of the litter for a little while until I catch up. But everybody like wants to develop their comfort level and their security quietly. And then one day they just jump up and they feel confident once they sized up the space. And certain moments you can't get again. Your first day in a space, you can't get that back again. No matter what you do later, you have now wobbled and distorted your entire experience going forward. What are you staring at the camera for? And that's for all of y'all. I said it for all of y'all, especially you women, because y'all be the most egotistical. Dudes, it's easy for dudes to make friends with each other. It's not that complicated. Y'all look at each other's clothes, each other's shape. Oh, she got boobies. I ain't got no boobies. Oh, she got hips. I ain't got no hips. Ooh, her hair wrap is 3 different colors. And I got a t-shirt on my head. I hope they don't realize it's a t-shirt and the tag is sticking out. Y'all got all these different insecurities y'all be going through. So then you stay very guarded. Sometimes even all the extra eyeglasses and wraps is a part of you being guarded. Yeah, look at her looking up. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? They just wear them so they can have their Malcolm X moments. See, brother. Nah, you got to push it up with your middle finger. You got to push it up in the middle with your middle finger. That's the Malcolm X. Nah, you got to push it up back on your face with your middle finger. Oh, my God.
Your glasses.
They just went right back.
Push them up on your face with your middle finger.
That's what you say. You see, brother? It's the white man.
you gotta slice that up.
Right. You gotta fix the guy. You gotta push the glasses up first. But no, this is a moment for a lot of people listening right now to learn. Like, this is an important thing. A lot of people come in fearful and guarded like that because they're afraid of that level of judgment. And as a result, you now transfer that emotion of suspicion onto other people. And it just goes around the line. So now everyone's suspicious of each other. So you're slowly building these relationships in a very slow, sluggish sort of way. But then there's still always that seed of suspicion that you've pushed to the side, but it's still alive. You never get rid of it. So one day you'll then say, oh, you really are this way. You really are that way. Because you had that suspicion in you the entire time. Because of the way you started off. Because Yakira Eden started off the same way as Naya. Same thing. Guarded, afraid. Right? So anytime you operate out of fear, you're only going to create hell. You're only going to create confusion. Hell is confusion. And it's birthed from that fear. And fear also births ignorance. So now I'm coming into the space fearful and guarded, thinking that from this guarded tower, I'm going to observe everything and absorb knowledge. But the reality is I'm operating in fear, so I'm not absorbing any knowledge. I'm remaining ignorant of the space and everyone in it. But I'm just acclimating myself to my cage. So every day I show up, I'm still in my cage. I don't leave I'm still in my prison that I created. And then when I finally get comfortable with my prison, then I start acting a little bit more like myself, but still within my own cage that I've created for myself. So there's never any true exchange, connection, or love. We can't even touch each other because we're both behind bars.
And ignorance would need a controlled environment in order to sustain.
Yes, if you're the one controlling it, yeah, you would control your own sphere, or your hedge, if you would, to maintain that ignorance,
So
which
therefore,
keeps you
one,
from loving.
right, right, okay. Because I was thinking like one would control how much I'm going to share, or I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to make sure that I'm able to try to read everybody else in the room to make sure that the water is fine before I begin to open up, or if the water is not the exact temperature that I want it to be, then I'm going to sit back, but I'm able to control what is going on so that therefore I don't quote unquote hurt myself. But
Right,
meanwhile, I'm just hurting myself because I'm not able to make a real connection with anybody.
right. And see, because by time you do all of that mentating as a prelude to your giving, you done ruined what it was going to be anyway.
Right.
Because certain things are not supposed to be thought upon so much. It's like love making. If you're making love and someone keeps asking you, am I doing all right? Is this good? Is this good? They asking you that every 30 seconds. See, look at the women's faces already. See, exactly. I mean, I almost don't even have to finish that, right? You see, because there, and you just like, just do what you're freaking doing. You know what I'm saying? Just get it over with.
At that point,
At this point, yeah, just get up, get up, get up.
do it myself.
Exactly. You sitting on the edge of the bed, looking back at them while you finishing yourself off. Yeah, look at that. You ain't innocent. But anyway, so
You get on top. Like, I'm not gonna finish it off. We gonna finish this way, but I'm just gonna be on top.
all right, you see what she awake. See what she wakes up for. The head has
You got
arisen.
answers now.
You see that? Look at her.
I'm here now.
Voice got all strong. You see all that resonance on her voice?
She didn't even blink.
Right, exactly. She's
I'm
up.
always flashing for blinks.
Yeah, well, we know how to love you now.
That's how I know someone home. They blink. If you ain't blinking, then there's something wrong.
Right. So you see, that's the same thing. So when you bring all that apprehension and all that unsurety inside of it, you ruin what it's supposed to be. And even if you do better the second time, I'm still talking about lovemaking. You're always going to remember that horrible first time because it taints what it's going to be from here on out. You see? Yeah. See, message.
I heard it. Still present, right?
That's Cap.
And I think that when you were just speaking, the thing that was replaying in my head is you only get one chance to make a first impression. So it's like if I'm going to present myself this way, it's going to be that much harder to try to now gain back trust from everybody else when I didn't show up being my authentic self from Jump Street. And I think it even goes back to what we were speaking about earlier too, was just thinking that people are not thinking about you as much as you think that they're thinking about you, right? And it's just, we make this thing so much bigger than what it needs to be because we, like you just said, making it this whole monologue in our own heads before we even present ourselves. So as opposed to just being like, yeah, my name is Zach and and just start talking, but not. I would also say too, because some people start to overshare in a minute but it's again like that nervousness maybe that they have where they just start going on and on about, yeah, and I didn't bathe my children last night because I was like, man, oh, wait a second. I don't even know you like that. But a matter of just I guess it would just come through practice of, yeah, I messed that one up. Practice of, yeah, okay, but but just being authentic in the sense. And I think that's the most difficult part is who are you? And the question that you asked earlier was like, how do you love yourself? How do you want somebody to love you? And how do you love others? And I think when one is walking in that with that bit as a big question mark, then now that's when one starts to use control and that ignorance in order to now make themselves feel safe and secure in a sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna sign off of this, but after this, but I just want to ask a question to everybody in the room, everyone in the chat. One word. What do you want to be given in love? What is is one word. What thing can you be given that will activate the love connection between us?
Compassion. That's my one word.
Support.
Affection.
Knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I think consideration.
Not one word.
Consideration.
And in the chat, it says respect from, peace, Aki Rahim. It's a different sign. Respect, and Anu Radio says authenticity.
That's not Aki Rahim.
Oh.
Nah, that's right. That's brother
That's
Rob.
right. No, that's Aki Rahim. The first
No, Raheem is there because he was at the retreat.
Yeah, that's Raheem's who you greeted earlier. That was.
Okay. There was another Ra. Okay.
Yeah, no, you know this is Raheem because in the Hebrew, Ra means bad.
So you show
You know, that's one of ours. That's Raheem.
Okay.
Yeah, we know him. So everyone should be really writing those down.
Mhm.
Everyone just told you their key. This is the principle. This is the key that opens up my leb, my heart. Right? If y'all remember them.
And Sister Yafe was something. And then
unconscious violence.
Was something else.
Yafe was distance. Zach was ignorance.
Kiri was indifference.
Judgment.
Kiri was compassion. Sister Yafe was affection. Zach was not that.
Knowledge.
It was knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And Imanaya, it was 3 words, so I can't remember what it was. I can't remember which word was it. It was 3 words, so I remember that part.
Consideration.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was hard to remember though, because she didn't say it right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And Raheem says respect. He ain't getting that from me though. The boy 18. So you get that. So you can ask for something else.
Master Menelik, what was yours? I don't recall yours.
Mine was a jetpack.
Support.
That's what I said. I want a
Support.
jetpack. You give me a jetpack, I know you love me.
You said support.
Oh yeah, that too. But jetpack support you. Yeah,
right, that will support you.
They fly back and forth to Florida.
Right. Saving some money on the tickets.
It was placed in the chat, so give thanks for placing it in the chat.
Our new radio, or Sister Yamina said authenticity, and I think that's the only ones we got. That's important information, man. That's important information right there. You know, and then you also get to see how it may change over time. You know, he said,
that's dope right there. That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't share yours, Chief.
Oh, because ain't none of y'all business. I don't want y'all love. Sovereignty says affection. She said, oh, okay. Sovereignty didn't give hers. Okay.
Well, give thanks for the build. This was leaps and bounds beyond anything that, I could have imagined. So I'm grateful because this was really, really edifying. And thank you, Lugal, for even summoning the sisters to this space. And thank you for those who participated. Thank you, Aki Zach and Master Menelik, and of course, Akoti Yafe and Saptanaya. I will that we all, received a lot more clarity and even pushed connect more and to affirm what is most beautiful in each and every one of us as we align and connect with Yah. All right, with that, I'm going to
Thank you for taking our time. You almost took 4 hours. So thank you for the, I know this was, I mean, I'm giving her props. Like, you hung in there for 4 hours almost. And, thank you for sharing your time with the community. They still laughing. They're so horrible. See, they all want love. You see how horrible they are? You see? This is why I don't want their love. You see, I'd rather they respect. Kaiser Sose told me that the respect lasts longer. So that's what. Yeah, I live my life. Yeah, that's I live my life by what Kaiser Sose, by his philosophy. Yeah. So yeah.
Make it up as you go.
Yeah.
No respect.
Zach be quoting Kaiser Sose too. Y'all didn't know that. That whenever you hear him say, when he says, "Well, the greatest trick the devil had was to make people believe," he got that from Reasonable Suspect, Unusual Suspect. That's where he got that from.
Usual
Hey,
look at him.
From the Napoleon Hill, the book "Outwitting the Devil."
Oh, you know what? You might have. Okay, all right. You won that one. Okay, you won.
Well, Usual Suspect stole it from the book then.
Right, exactly.
Because that's Unusual Suspects.
Yeah, it is an Usual Suspect, but it is also an Outwitting the Devil. So, okay, all right.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for participating. And Naya.
Yes, sir.
You got some makeup to do.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
All right. Peace, everyone.
Also say that summons is implied when we put that link in the chat. You don't need a text to tell you to come on.
I didn't get a text.
Yeah, I didn't summon Yafe. I mean, I did sort of summon Yafe in something that I said earlier to her.
You did? Oh, that was 2 hours.
Can I go to the farmer's market? I'll go after the live.
I was like, okay.
There's no reason for you to go after live. You can listen while you're going, unless you plan on participating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody getting called out today, boy.
I don't know what's going on.
What you do, Menelec? I got more smoke left. Menelec don't never do nothing wrong. That's a problem. You never catch him in there. He don't never do nothing.
He tells on himself. That's an
yeah, he gets before you can catch him. Then he'd be at work all the time. We'll get him. We got to set him up.
I don't know how y'all can do that. I always feel like cameras in the room, so I don't know how you can do that.
All right, but thank you, Cecilia, Kara, Eden, and thank you everybody, for going for the ride, and even you, Naya. You know what I mean? Because you could have punked out. You was about to. I saw it in your face. You know what I mean? But yeah, you stood strong, and and you should give thanks to Zach, because when you talked about that love and patience I said receive, you never really commented on everything he gave you. Yeah, but I'll let y'all deal with that. You know what I'm saying? After school. Peace.
Peace. Give thanks.
Give thanks, everyone. Give thanks to me, Kiri.
Thank you.
Yom Shanto.